Howdy, y'all. Welcome. Nice of y'all to mosey in here. Welcome once again to Film Heat Live. This week, we are watching Wild West Classics. These are the classics. I'm going to turn this music on, down. This music is a bit much.
Yes. Audience, these are the oldest, most boringest movies we've ever watched.
They were all right. They weren't... Not all of them were boring.
There was some boomerificness going on.
Yeah.
There was a few times I was like, oh, that's where Dad got that. Okay.
Yeah. Make it think you grandpa.
When you initially said westerns, I was thinking something different. I was thinking like Tombstone, Quigley Down Under, shit like that. And then you posted a list. I was like, what is this?
No, man. I'm talking Western classics. This is it, boys. It don't get any more classic than this.
Then Pappy Westerns.
Yeah, this is me. This is movies your grandpa had on TV, and he sat there ignoring the rest of the family.
That's funny. This is literally my granddad's hat.
Nice. Actually, I don't think my granddad would watch any of these movies except for The Searchers. Maybe that's like the rest of these are like too good for a lot of people's grandpas, to be on grandpa's radar. Because these are the classics, man. Like this is a curated list of movies, and yeah, I actually quite enjoyed this list. I'm probably the only one. I went full Stoklaza on this one and like submitted the rest of these guys to this list. I was like, you don't have to like it.
Since this is all we had to watch, I found stuff to like, here and there.
Yeah. Me, I'm an American history nerd, and I'm a fan of like the US Civil War and all that time afterwards, and I like the Wild West. I wanted to hit Dad up. Actually, Dad's got a home video of me when I'm like maybe 4 years old. We got the family over, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like rocking in my little rocking chair, and I'm like, Jeremy, where were you born? And they were asking me, and I was like, I'm from Texas. I was born in Key West, Florida, but I'm like, no, I'm from Texas. I'm a cowboy. I'm just like pretty as you please, just rocking in my chair, and I wanted a cold open with that in the show, but I didn't think about it in time. So yeah, no, I'm a cowboy from way back. Y'all.
I think there's something about cowboys that just appeals to like little boys.
Yeah.
I think every kid has a phase. It's like you move on from cowboys to dinosaurs and shit,
Yeah, or vice versa. However the order.
I was about to say I went the other way.
I went from Robin Hood to cowboys. I remember being a little Robin Hood fanboy as a wee lad. But yeah, welcome to the show. We are talking Wild West classics, and let's run down our movie list right quick. We're not starting soon. We are started. This one. Oh, dang it. Hang on a minute. Done goofed. Moment.
We can read them off from there. Just
Well, I hope you're wearing your shitting britches.
Hope you got your long johns on with your pooping window.
Got your booty flap open.
Open your booty flaps, boys and girls.
Head for your outhouse. Open your butt flap.
Get your head out the outhouse. All right. So our list this week includes 1956's The Searchers, 1952's High Noon, 1953's Shane, 1969 The Wild Bunch. What does that say? 1968's Once Upon a Time in the West, and 1966 The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So 50s and 60s movies. Definitely by far our oldest list to date.
Mhm.
That's okay. I want to break into more like old school classic cinema. This is a nice way to do it. I was unabashedly inspired by Red Letter Media's review of Good, the Bad, and the Ugly a couple weeks back. So we are chasing tails here. That's all right. So let me see.
I mean, they did that thing after we talked about Liam Neeson. So
We did a thing, and they did a thing, and then they did a thing, and then we did a
they've been copying
thing.
us too.
They're copying us. Red Letter Media.
We see you out there.
We
We
see
see
you.
We watching.
So, what do you guys think about this list after watching? You feel a little better about these movies, or did you just suffer through?
I mean, I was pretty familiar with most of these, considering, you know, my family from Texas and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I've never seen a single one of these movies. I've never even heard of most of these movies.
oh,
So,
damn.
Thankfully, there's been other new media in the world to satiate myself with.
Oh yeah. So you hated it? You just suffered through this list?
Mostly.
Missed it.
It's I don't know. I wasn't excited at first, but I found a lot to like. Like I went into it, I like had to eat my vegetables first. I was like, let's get these 50s out of the way because I know they were gonna be rough. I was like, all right, and I knew the 60s ones would be better, right? Because they just are. And but you know, I was wrong. There were some good ones in the 50s, like well, particularly one good one.
Yeah.
And you just got to give it a chance to get into it. Like everybody has their biases, right? But you got to give them a chance and fucking sit down and focus on it and watch it, and that's the best way to judge, I think.
Hey, and I'm the one that's been riding around in circles in Red Dead for the past month.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it.
You are literally playing some of these guys.
Oh yeah. And it's fun watching these movies and seeing the inspiration, seeing where Red Dead took inspiration from. There's like a couple of these movies in particular that Red Dead Redemption definitely took most of their inspiration from. But
it was the Wild Bunch because they even did the same cut from like the gray daguerreotype photo to the live shot. They straight up took that. And you put together some character inspiration from other movies.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, there's even a guy named Dutch in the Wild Bunch. I mean, he's not the leader, but the leader is the same like archetype as Dutch from Red Dead Redemption. He's the leader of the rough and tumble gang who's trying to outrun society closing in on him. You know, like it's the same.
I think that's where the similarities end because I like Pike a lot better than Dutch. You know.
Oh yeah, Pike's awesome. Wild Bunch was awesome. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's take a look at our first heat here. 1956's The Searchers against 1952's High Noon.
Do we really have to get all into it on this movie?
Oh, we're gonna get way into it.
Yeah, we gotta tell them what's good and bad and ugly about these.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead strap myself in and open my complaints department.
Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at the trailer here. Let's watch the trailer for The Searchers.
Go, Martin, please.
Hang on now.
Spoiler. Spoiler.
Martin goes.
A man whose unconquerable will and boundless determination.
Oh, I just realized Risky Photography. Thank you for that resub. They've been subscribed for 12 months. Thank you, baby.
It's John Wayne as Ethan Edwards, who had a rare kind of courage. The courage that simply keeps on and on, far beyond all reasonable endurance. Never thinking of
These
himself
old ass
as
trailers too.
never thinking of himself as brave.
We'll find
Oh
him in
my
the end, I
God.
promise you.
The best thing they could say about him is he's got courage.
Here is the
Yeah.
story of a man
That's about right.
hard and relentless, tender and passionate, of people who dared to challenge a hostile land. Here is drama of great love and aching loneliness.
And that's the problem with this damn movie is that they frame this motherfucker as such a like good guy hero,
He is like the
and he's nothing good about him.
his character is seriously the worst fucking person that I have seen on this entire goddamn list.
Spell it out. Don't ever ask me. As long as you live, don't ever ask me more. And if you don't hear my first holler, you better read my mind, because I don't aim to raise no two hollers on any subject at hand. Yes, sir. Boy, watch that knife.
Go, Martin, please.
Stand aside, Martin. Oh, you don't, Ethan. Ethan, no, you don't. Stand aside.
This is also the most cartoony of all the fucking
Oh,
movies on this list, right?
Oh yeah.
All the other ones are like more realistic, right? On this one, they go outside their fucking house and they're in Monument Valley. Like, I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, nobody
oh,
fucking
yeah.
lives there. All right, like, come on.
Right.
I figure on
Yeah.
making myself
Yeah.
unsurrounded.
Like and they're in like
Let's go!
the fucking barren deserts of like South Texas, and then like suddenly it's just like snowing like 4 feet of snow. There's no such plains of Canada. What? They're not in fucking Canada.
No, they went everywhere chasing.
Where did those
that
come
thing.
from?
Where is this? What is this?
Jeffrey Hunter as the half breed. That's said in the
That-
movie.
Vera
Jeffrey
Miles,
Hunter,
no, she was about it though.
he looks like that. He looks like that guy from Good Mythical Morning. You know what I'm talking about? Anybody know what that is?
Yeah.
Rhett and Link.
Yeah, like the dark-haired guy with the pretty eyes. He looks like him.
That hunky guy on YouTube.
Oh, you think he's got pretty eyes, huh?
That hunky guy on YouTube. Yeah, you know the one. He
Talking about
does.
yourself
He
again.
does. He's got pretty eyes.
Yeah, we're not John Wayne here. We can compliment another man's looks.
Right?
Yeah.
Not insecure like
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
John Wayne.
So The Searchers is the most racist movie I've seen since Birth of a Nation. That movie, like the point of the movie is just racism. And like
That's it. That's the movie.
your hero is all the more heroic because he's just a big racist, and that's how the movie paints him. Like, oh, you could tell he's good because he don't like engines. You know, like that's how the
and
movie
he was from
is.
the Confederacy.
Yeah, he's from the Confederacy. That's how you know he's honorable. Nothing about what he does matters. You know he's honorable because he's from the Confederacy. See, like it's just the most fucking stupid shit I've ever seen. And,
And the
like,
young man ruins his life following him around just to make sure he doesn't do something stupid. That's the
Yeah.
only reason why he's following him around.
exactly, just to keep it like.
Like,
And he's supposed to be the good guy, but all
He's-
he does is bad things.
like half of the movie is people trying to stop him from doing something fucked up.
Yeah,
Like, dude, stopping him from just massacring Buffalo.
yeah,
Like,
he's like just massacring Buffalo, and why? Just so like the natives can't get him.
It's like,
You know what I'm
well,
saying?
those won't be feeding them damned engines.
Yeah,
Like, it's fucking.
and the movie portrays this as a good thing. You know,
Right.
it's not like he's a bad character and you're supposed to see him as like a flawed character. No, the movie portrays all of this as heroic and good.
Mhm.
What? I
He's
didn't get
just
to that far.
misunderstood.
But he wants to do like a genocidal, like ecological disaster,
Yeah,
and it's portrayed as a good thing. And this,
Yeah.
holy God.
Well, yeah, no,
Yeah.
he is portrayed as misunderstood and fucking like everybody was.
and the kid
was
that's
in his
following him
way.
around stops him. He's like, "Quit doing that!" And like they portray him as weak. You know, he's like the weakling holding them back. You know,
How many times does he like shrug over with a blanket over himself in that movie?
oh yeah,
It's like, oh, you old man, I'll just go to sleep about it.
Down like
Yeah.
a loose plot summary here. Like from what I saw, like he's like the uncle. He's shipping in
Mhm.
to like this frontier. The whole family's there on the frontier, right? The uncle fucking shows up. They're
Yeah.
all fucking enamored with him because he's like so hard. He's like
they
a
live in
super hard ass.
Texas. They live in
Yeah.
like the plains / desert of Texas, and he's a Civil War veteran who was a cavalryman for the Confederacy. And after shuffling around for a few years, he decides to go home and live with his brother and his brother's family. And he, at the beginning of the movie, he shows up and they're all excited to see him. And, you know, he's like, "Here, nephew, you can have my saber. And here, niece, you can have my, you know, Confederate star or whatever, my medal." And then some neighbors from around the way show up and they're like, "Oh, some Indians made off with my cattle." So they form up a posse and they go after the cattle and they find the cattle all just slaughtered. And this is our first instance of them portraying natives as just pure bad. Like throughout this movie, natives are portrayed as just like irredeemably evil. That's the point of this movie. Natives are bad. So the cattle's all slaughtered, and they're like, "Well, why'd they do that for?" And they're like, "Oh, because they wanted to go. They wanted us, you know, they wanted to draw us out so they can go raid our homes." I'm like, "Come on, let's go!" And they go home, and sure enough, the natives, who the chief of whom is played by a straight up white guy.
He looks like Flea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, like a super tan Flea.
Yeah, he's like a Polish guy
Like there's
playing the native chief.
there is not a feature on this man that is not just 100% pure fucking Caucasian.
Yeah. Oh, if you look
Like-
at all the native extras, they're like literally like East Asian men and like Italians, and that's it. Like there's like Japanese people and Italian people playing the rest of the natives, which is hilarious because that's a joke in Cannibal the Musical. If you ever seen that, all the natives are played by Japanese people. It's fucking hilarious. Anyway. So the natives have showed up and they burned down the farm and they killed all the men and they kidnapped the women because that's what natives do, according to this movie. So our heroic John Wayne racist makes off to go rescue the women, and he's followed by a young man who is a quote unquote half-breed, as John Wayne calls him. He's a young half native, half white guy that apparently John Wayne had apparently had saved as a small child and was raised by his brother's family. So the movie paints this guy like he's not to be 100% trusted because he's a half-breed. So they go off and they're chasing down this native tribe to go rescue these women. And this is where I got really confused because the movie is not paced well and is not edited well. If you pay attention, they mention after a while that they're gone for like 5 years. They're on the trail for 5 years, trailing these native tribes, looking after trying to find these girls. But you would never tell that much time has passed from the editing. So much time passes just willy-nilly without any of like the modern editing tricks to let you know that like time is passing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just like important deaths that just happen off screen that they just kind of mention once and move on.
Yep.
Like when apparently like the older sister is found killed by the natives, they just like mention that, and he's like, oh no, I found her dead back yonder and I covered her in my jacket. It's kind of like a big deal, but they just like
No, he tried to play it when he showed back up without his cloak. He tried to play off like he had just lost it.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I found her dead and I wrapped her in my coat and buried her with my bare hands.
My bare hands.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Hey, guess what? Golden fucking hell.
Golden hell.
Everything sucks on this, from the storytelling to the fucking characters.
G'day,
to
guys.
the
My
casting.
name's Josh.
It all just sucks.
Everything about this movie is bad. It is bad from start to finish. Just
It's totally bad.
Yeah. It's not good. John Wayne sucks. Like John Wayne's acting is so stiff and like performative, you know, it's like he's doing this thing, you know, like I don't know. And when you in going back and reading about him, people talk about him like his acting was like world changing.
fucking, it's like John Wayne's doing a John Wayne impression.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I call this the greatest John Wayne film.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Yeah, don't read the
Wow.
reviews for this because it just tells you nothing about how the movie's going to actually be. I was looking at it's like 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm pretty sure most of those are contemporaneous reviews and shit, but
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
all the boomers that figured out how to use the internet.
I'm
I'm gonna tell you about how great this movie is.
it's terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, and it's not. There would have been a right way to tell this story, but this is not it. You know, like you can tell a story about, you know, people being bad and doing bad things without glorifying those bad things. This movie glorifies all the wrong things. So,
You're like, this is not how you do an anti-hero.
right, yeah. And he's not supposed to be an anti-hero, even though he is. The movie portrays him as like a shiny golden hero.
Right.
So
This is not how you do this.
yeah, like the cinema portrays his racistness as the right way. Like anyway. So yeah, they finally find the last living girl, and after 5 years of living with these natives, they portray her as just completely savage now. She's like basically foaming at the mouth and like gibbering, like she's stark raving mad because she lived with native tribes for 5 years. And at first she's like, no, go home, leave me be, these are my people now. And they're like, oh no, we're gonna take you home, partner.
John Wayne was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna shoot her.
Oh, and you know what pissed me off? At the beginning of the movie, what's his name? Let's see here. Let me come to my notes here. This is a movie for racist old coots about the evil Indians and the honorable Confederate man. Yeah. Ethan, he makes such a huge deal. Martin is the name of the young man, the young half-breed I mentioned earlier. Martin, who was raised by this family, he's not related to him, but he grew up with them. And he's talking to John Wayne, and he's talking about how he's going to find these girls because they're his kin. John Wayne says, they're not your kin. you know, because he's half native, and he makes a huge deal about how kin is only blood, and la 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 la. But then
Mhm.
at the end of the movie, he's straight up gonna kill this girl. Like he starts like gunning down this little girl because she turns over to the natives. He's like, "Go home. These are my people now." It's like, wait a minute. She's literally your blood, you know.
Mhm.
And earlier in the movie, you make a big deal about how kin is only blood and blood is kin. Period. And now you're gonna kill her, your own blood and kin, just because she says she identifies as native now. Like
I'm about
as
to
this
say
tribe?
no, she didn't identify as native. Now he made it a point to say several times she ain't white no more.
Right? Yeah, they say that. Yeah, she ain't white no more.
Like he says like that quote
It's
Yeah,
so
several
bad.
times. She ain't white
Literally.
no more.
Yeah.
Like holy fuck.
And they refer to native men as bucks,
Uh-huh.
which is like about as racist as it fucking gets, dude.
As animals to be slaughtered, yeah. Like to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
hunted
yeah.
and shot. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. A lot of Western shit is kind of like libertarian, like fantasy porn, you know. But this one is like like the extra mile, you know. Like
Mhm. This one is like
This
over
movie
the
goes
top.
out of its way to be explicitly racist. And
Yeah, no,
like, the
that's
story glorifies racism to the
Yeah,
bitter end, to the very end.
and that's what kills me about it is like everybody's like, "Oh, this is such a great movie," and the movie's just like, "I'm as racist as I can get." Oh, you like that? Like, I'll try to squeeze out a little more racism for you.
Yeah. And you know, you could have a movie like this where you have a racist ass main character, but by the end he learns his lesson. That it's not the case here. Like he is doubled down, if nothing else. Like
What's fucked is like the very last scene. He's riding up like he's about to shoot her in the back,
yeah.
and like suddenly he just grabs her up on his horse and rides off. Like what
Yeah,
the
and
fuck?
after her like doubling and tripling down on like y'all need to go home, like I'm with them now, like these are my people now. When they finally get her away, she's just like, "Oh, thank you for saving me." Like, you know, like
that makes no sense. Like,
made
what
no
the hell?
sense whatsoever.
No
So
sense.
anyway, The Searchers is bad. It's a bad movie in story and in form and in acting. Like,
Yep.
just not even good. Yeah.
I mean,
My quotes from this one. The guy says, "I don't think that's a dead bird funny." Like,
uh,
a dead bird is just
fucking-
funny to you? Like,
I don't know why old dude didn't just say fuck it and stay there with what's her name? The girl that was like freak out head over heels for the dude.
oh yeah.
Like
What- yeah.
I don't
Mhm.
know why he didn't just be like, you know what? Have fun. Go get your niece. There, my
Yeah, she
guy.
ain't my kin. You done
She ain't
explained
my
to me.
kin,
She ain't my
remember?
kin. So let me stay here with the hot one.
Right. I'm gonna stay here with the hot, obviously freaky one.
Yeah.
And
Oh
y'all
yeah.
have at it.
So I mean,
It would have been a short movie though. It should have been a short movie.
yeah. So anyway, that's The Searchers. A movie about the evil of the Red Man. if you
More
will.
like the evil of John Wayne.
Oh yeah. And the people who like this movie, apparently, like, I don't know, you can't like this movie with a good soul. It seems like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just something wrong with you. If you're like, this movie is good, Mister Partner.
It's not.
So anyway, this movie is up against High Noon, our oldest film on the list, 1952, and our only black and white movie on the list. Let's take a look at this trailer.
Judges left town, Harvey's quit, and I'm having trouble getting deputies.
People got to talk themselves into law and order before they do anything about it. Maybe because down deep they don't care. They just don't care.
I think you better go while there's still
He
time.
started dressing like that in Red
It's
Dead.
better
all the
for
time.
you, and it's better for us.
Amy,
I mean it. If you
Yeah,
won't
that's
go
sharp.
with me now, I'll be on that train. that leaves here.
I've got to stay.
Why must you be so stupid, Will? Have you forgotten what he is? Have you forgotten what he's done to people? Have you forgotten that he's crazy? Don't you remember when he sat in that chair and said, "You'll never hang me, I'll come back. I'll kill you, Will Kane. I swear it, I'll kill you."
A terror-stricken town left him to face 4 killers, single-handed, at high noon.
He just laying it out here. Goddamn.
Oh yeah.
With every swing of the pendulum, with every second, a man's life ticked away. Never have so few moments held such excitement.
Miller!
What kind of woman are you? How can you leave him like this? Does the sound of the guns frighten you that much?
Oh, don't you leave me, my darling. Oh yeah, Jeff Bridges' dad is in this.
Yep, they have a tussle in the hay.
Lloyd Bridges.
Alright, man. Look at that font, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Looks like the damn Star Wars font.
Yeah. Yeah. Was definitely probably inspired by, for
Yeah.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, I fucking loved this movie.
It was a
Like,
good fucking movie.
I did not expect to enjoy this movie as much as I did. You know, being the oldest one on here, I expected it to be the slowest one. I expected it to have some old school message or something, you know, kind of like The Searchers, just like being innately racist. But no, this is probably one of the more progressive as far as like cinematic storytelling goes, because the movie almost happens in real time. At the start of the movie, you got your quintessential 50-year-old marrying a 20-year-old, because that's what happens. And it's a wedding. They're having a wedding celebration, and he's the old marshal, and like the whole town's jubilant because the marshal finally gets to lay down his gun and his star because he's caught the big bad, and now he gets to marry the lady and settle down. You know, like the story has happened, and now we get to celebrate. That's how the movie starts, and then he learns that the gang of the guy he put away previously has showed up in town, and the guy he put away got out of jail, and he's on his way here, and he's looking for revenge on you, Marshall.
Yep, they know he's coming in on a 12 o'clock train.
On the
His boss
12
is
o'clock
already
train.
hanging out, and he's coming.
He's on the way. So the marshal decides that he can't run. He can't run away. He can't live with this unfinished business behind, you know, chasing him down. He's got to face it man to man. And he tells his wife, to her dismay, he says, "You go and hide. I'm going to go handle this. I'm going to round up the town, and together we're going to take care of this." But he goes around to the town, and one by one, everyone in town turns their back on him. And I love this movie because it almost happens in real time. You know, he's got like an hour and a half before noon when the train arrives. And the movie's about an hour and a half long. So you watch him like in real time as the clock ticks away, and he's like pleading with the town. He's like, "Will anybody join my posse?" And he you know, he gets the one guy right up front. He's like, yeah, I'm with you. Let me go take care of some stuff. You go get the rest of the posse, and I'll meet up with you just before noon. Like, all right. And he goes around town, and nobody wants to join him. He goes to the saloon, and everybody in the saloon is on the bad guy's side. And they're like, fuck you, we're not joining.
Yeah.
And he goes to the church. He interrupts the service in church, and he's like, will anybody join me? And a few people are like, yeah, let's do it. But they have like a town meeting, and they talk themselves out of it. And they're like, no, we're not going to do it. So like tension builds as like more and more people are turning their back on him, like one by one, and it's getting closer and closer to noon. Time is just ticking away. And he goes back and he talks to the first guy who agreed, and the guy's like, no one's coming? It's like, I'm sorry, Marshall, but I got a family. You know, I thought it'd be more than just us two. I can't just throw my life away. And he's like, fine, get out of here. And he loses the one guy that he had at the last minute. And I just love that scene. It's the scene that the trailer opened with. It's that tall 2-story pull away, that God's eye view of him standing in the town center, and it pulls away and it just shows the big empty town. There's no one. He just looks so alone. Like the cinematography, the timing, just the storytelling in this movie is phenomenal. It's so intense. I was just like biting my fingernails watching this movie. I didn't even realize I was like on the edge of my seat. So good. So good.
One thing I want to clarify, like Lloyd Bridges plays his deputy at first, right? But he wants some kind of deal, right? And the sheriff won't agree to it. Like, what was he wanting and caused Lloyd Bridges, his only deputy, to like quit on him?
I don't know.
Wanted to be the marshal. I think he wanted to be the marshal, which I don't know why he wouldn't agree to if he was leaving anyway that day.
That's a good question. Lloyd Bridges is a character, and yeah, he was his like right-hand man in the past. They made clear that Lloyd was his right-hand man, but now they've had a falling out. Now they're like at each other's throats.
I mean, it happens in the movie right there. He's like, yeah, I'll help you out, but he wants something from him, but the marshal won't agree to it, and he puts his badge down and goes starts fucking drinking. And I can't remember.
I honestly don't remember what that was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a great suspenseful movie. It's definitely good.
The whole thing's
Definitely
an analogy
good.
for Hollywood blacklisting it.
Yeah.
All it takes is one person with a little bit of power being mad at you and threatening your fucking stature and how that's going to affect everybody around you, and everybody just poof.
Right.
Drop your ass like a hot rock.
Yeah, if everybody had just joined him, it would have been no problem, and would have just been like that.
Like,
but
ta-da, union.
Because everybody individually is so afraid for themselves, nobody wants to join in, and everybody's waiting for everybody else to join in, but nobody else does, so nobody joins in, and he's just left alone. Yeah, man, that's a good point, Eric. That's a great point. So yeah, and time just ticks away, and he's pleading, and he's just like going more and more downhill. He goes to like the old marshal's house, and he's just like some old retired guy in his rocking chair, and he's like, "Won't you help me?" And he's like, "Hell no! You need to get out of town. You need to just run away because
what the fuck are you still doing here?"
Yeah, and this movie has a pretty almost kind of humorous original soundtrack. They've got like an original song that plays, and it kind of punctuates each and every scene. But it's like almost kind of funny because it's super hokey song, and it's like the same little bit in between every scene. And at the end, it all makes sense because the song is talking about like, don't you leave me, my darling, just stay here with me. And the whole time his wife, at the beginning of the movie, he marries this woman, and she's waiting for the 12 o'clock train to get on because she's leaving town. She's going to leave this motherfucker. She's over it. And at the end of the movie, there's a big showdown, 4-on-1. This guy is all alone, and they have a big gunfight. And the culminating thing is when his wife finally comes back and shoots the motherfucker out the window, gets him, saves her husband, saves the day.
That's the one bit of help he needs because he gets upper hand on about 3 of them.
Yeah,
but it's a big deal because his wife was a Quaker pacifist.
You're right.
So she kind of she was bitching at him to lead the whole time too.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. She's a Quaker, and that's why she's kind of on the outs in society as well. Because Quakers are kind of like a minority in and of themselves. People don't like Quaker. They don't take too kindly these other religions.
Put the oats down and get.
Put the oats down and get. That's a callback to the Searchers.
Well, this other movie could have been pretty much anything, and it would have won.
Like, seriously.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
5 goes west and
yeah, Wild West.
Yeah,
it could have been. It could have been a video of kids throwing rocks at a car, and it would have still been better than.
I'd rather see that video of you sitting in the rocket chair.
Yeah,
right. I would watch that on a 2-hour loop instead of watching The Searchers again.
I'm from Texas. I'm from Texas. I'm from Texas.
And then just my great grandma sitting next to me, just cackling. She's just losing her mind laughing. Oh yeah. All right. So,
is there any way that we can put The Searchers in negatives? Like,
no. Just trounce it. Just talk shit about it.
All right. Should we run a poll for chat? Get them in here.
There was one. I don't
know
if there are any takers, but let's see.
Oh, okay. No worries if not.
No.
Got 4 of them in there.
I went no takers on it. Unless you want to run another one, we can. But
no, that's fine. That's fine. All right. So my money's on High Noon. And I think everybody's in agreement with me there.
High Noon was actually a movie with a point. The Searchers was just 2.5 hours of racism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
High Noon all the way.
It was barely a fucking plot.
Yeah. And like the plot only goes to serve the racism in the Searchers. Like that's just it.
Yeah.
That's all there is.
Yeah, it was like they were, how do we come up with another reason for him to be more racist?
Right.
So if you're listening out there, be wary of the people who are actually fans of John Wayne.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Because I went into that going, I'll finally get to see what the the golden appeal of John Wayne is. This is supposed to be the best movie, and no, take a big dump on that.
No, there was a bunch of really bad John Wayne movies, but if I had to pick one that was better than this, Rooster Cogburn does it easily.
Fun fact, though. In my research about John Wayne died of stomach cancer in the 70s that he probably got from being on set during the filming of, what was it called? The Conqueror? I think it was called The Conqueror. It was a Genghis Khan movie made in like the 50s or the 40s where John Wayne plays Genghis Khan. And the movie was filmed in the Nevada deserts where they had recently done nuclear bomb testing. So they got these actors out there rolling around in radiated sand. They even went as far as to take some of that sand back to Hollywood with them so they can put it on a soundstage and finish filming. And like 60% of people that were on set ended up with cancer by the end of their lives. And like 40% of them died of cancer, including John Wayne. So
Yeah, those numbers are only a little bit higher than like the baseline, right? When asbestos was
that's
in everything, and they're
I mean,
like,
yeah, that's the
yeah, look
argument
at-
from the pro Hollywood, pro nuclear testing people. Were like, yeah, well,
no,
that's
it's definitely
basically
higher.
average. It's basically average. There's basically nothing weird about that. And like, so what? 60% of everybody died of cancer. Like, we're all dying of cancer. Okay, and like, this is also like the smoke in this generation, like, period.
Right.
Like the highest smoking percent. Like literally everybody is just chain smoking cigarettes.
These were the motherfuckers that thought it was cool for me to be, sitting in the McDonald's with them smoking as long as like they were over there a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Their cigarettes had less chemicals in it.
John Wayne was apparently a 6-pack a day smoker, according to Wikipedia.
good
that's disgusting.
God.
What a
They're saying how
disgusting.
he's
human
manly.
being. I'm glad he's dead.
Like you basically got to be smoking nonstop. You got to be like
You are
lighting off the
seriously.
butt.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
back to
120
back,
cigarettes.
every waking hour.
Yeah, that is tip to butt every cigarette.
Yeah, every like wake up, light a cigarette, and smoke tip to butt until you go to bed. You know, I don't know, man.
One of those motherfuckers has got like a cigarette lit in the ashtray on the table while he's eating.
Yeah,
Taking a hit between every couple of bites.
between bites, yeah, helps digestion.
Good for digestion.
How you digesting
Fucking
now?
Tuco.
Yeah, Tuco. Yeah,
Tuco, man.
yeah. All right. So up next, we've
Yeah,
got
that's every 8 minutes a cigarette. Sorry.
Yeah,
every
5 cigarettes
8
an
minutes.
hour.
5 cigarettes an hour.
Wow.
All right, considering it's what, like 3.5 minutes to smoke a cigarette.
Yeah, we've been going for an hour. Imagine you smoked 5 cigarettes since we started this podcast.
Yeah.
Jesus.
You'd be sick.
When I smoked cigarettes, I was a pretty fast smoker, but I timed myself, and I think it took me about 5.5 minutes to smoke a cigarette. You know?
Oh, not me. When I smoked cigarettes, I would have one fucking cooked down fucking 3.5 minutes. Fucking
Yeah. It like most of my friends took about 7 minutes to smoke a cigarette, and I took about 5.5 minutes to smoke a cigarette. And I remember timing it back in the day. So like I don't know, maybe these pussy ass millennials just don't know how to smoke cigarettes.
uh,
Oh,
Oof.
yeah.
That's like Ernest levels of cigarettes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
And that's if you're awake 16 hours a day strictly. If you
Oh yeah, I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even do that. That's more. So it's more. I did 120 divided by
Yeah.
24. So he's smoking like 10 or 12 cigarettes. That's just chain smoking all day.
It's just chain smoking.
it's
Yeah.
just nonstop.
Yeah. You got about 3 to 4 minutes in between cigarettes all day long.
yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
That's
You
about
smoke
it.
a cigarette, you wait about that amount of time, you smoke another cigarette.
Yeah. Golly.
Like
All
just
right.
even blocks of smoking and not smoking alternating throughout the day.
Ugh.
Punch them numbers in there. Oh, wait, we're doing Shane and we're on the next one. Okay.
Yeah. Up next, we got Shane, 1953 versus the Wild Bunch, 1969. I love the Wild Bunch because I read about how John Wayne apparently hated the Wild Bunch, and he said it was responsible for killing the idea of the American hero.
Good.
Good. Yeah, it dispelled the myth that John Wayne was
Oh my
selling.
Wait, so even before video games, they're trying to scapegoat shit. They're like,
Yeah,
that guy in the bell tower because the fucking Wild Bunch came out. That's why he shot on everyone in
Yeah.
Texas Tech because the Wild
Yeah.
Bunch.
Yep.
That
Wild
motherfucker-
Bunch, yeah, they destroyed the American way. You know,
The
my
people don't believe in the cowboy anymore.
yeah. Back in the day, everything was all hunky dory when it was just a red man who was the bad guy. Now, they're portraying the white man as the bad guy. Can you believe
Oh god!
Can you believe these
Can
people
you
have a white
believe-
bad guy? They have a white bad
it?
guy.
A white bad guy. Doesn't that beat all?
Oh god!
All right, let's take a look at these trailers. Let's start with Shane.
We don't.
Don't look. Spoilers. Acclaimed. Greatest story of the West ever filmed.
George Stevens, creator of such masterpieces as Giant and his Academy Award-winning A Place in the Sun, enlarges the scope of the screen with a motion picture whose monumental background is matched by the stature of its moving human drama. Drama that began when a mysterious stranger rode in from out of nowhere to play a decisive role in the lives of these rugged pioneers.
Call me Shane.
Shane, who attracted the woman with his quiet
What a
spirit,
smooth motherfucker.
fascinated the boy with the glint of his gun.
We'd all be much better off if there wasn't a single gun left in this valley.
A gun is as good or bad as the man using it.
From the clash of elemental forces, George Stevens has created a motion picture unforgettable for its spectacle and scope, its great human story, its deadly conflict.
I've heard about you. What have you heard, Shane? I've heard that you're a low-down Yankee liar.
Shane. This one is the more simple of the movies. Hellion Unreal, welcome.
Hey.
Jack Palance is in this movie. He's amazing.
Which one's Jack Balance?
The guy that got
He's the
shot
bad
in the
guy
bar.
that got shot right there.
Jack Wilson, the
He's
gunslinger.
the,
Oh,
he's
Wilson.
the old guy in 1989 Batman.
Yep.
Oh, don't forget your lucky deck.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? Yeah, it's funny seeing all these people that, like, if we know them at all, we know them as, like, old folks, you know.
Wasn't he
like,
Curly in City Slickers?
I don't even
That's
know.
it.
Or am I-
That's the other one I was thinking of.
Oh,
Yes.
that's a good call. Okay, yeah. Okay, well.
Hold on, I'm looking that up.
I knew I recognized the name. That's such a familiar name to me.
I mean, I know him from a bunch of like my granddad's
Oh,
movies.
yeah. Wow. I didn't even recognize him as a young man.
But yeah. No, you recognize the like the cut of those the fucking dimples and shit and that.
He's got a big chin on him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Wow. Yeah.
You could say he's got a face that only a mother could love.
No, he looks like a bad guy for sure. Not like a handsome
Oh,
one,
yeah.
like the Van Cleef guy, but
Right.
like
Yeah, he's got a villainous face for sure. That's crazy. I didn't even. Wow. Wowee. These millennials don't know nothing.
Well, I tried to pull out one that y'all would know.
This movie was pretty good. Pretty straightforward. It's just the story of some homesteaders out on the plains, and they've moved out there and they got their ranches built. But there's this gang of folks who I guess had been there since before they showed up. Justin, you were telling me about how like the bad guys have no kind of nuance, but there's one scene that does kind of at least allude to some nuance when they show up to their homestead late at night and they're like, "We just want to talk to you," and you think it's about to be a shootout. But then the bad guy, Riker, he just kind of lays it all out there. He's like, you know, I remember when you got here, you were just a boy. and we had already tamed this land and we had our herds roaming out here, and then all y'all decided to move in and take over, and y'all irrigate out of the lake to where down on my end it's all dried up. Whether or not he's lying, I don't know. They don't spell that out, but if he's telling the truth, he's got a little bit more of a reason to be upset.
Oh, so you're the bad guys, huh? You like that gay boy Shane, huh? Yeah, look at y'all.
I mean,
you got there, Shane.
I mean,
we got a Genuine Wilson on our hands here,
and Shane. Who knows? This guy could be bad. You know what? You know why Shane showed up at this place, right? Because he has a history with the wife, Joe Senior. Because he shows up at the family's house, and there's Joe Senior and little Joey, the son, and then the wife. Shane has a history with Joe's wife. That's why he showed up there.
You think that could be Shane's kid? Because that kid's kind of fair-haired.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was saying. I think Joey is actually Shane's offspring. And that's the whole reason. Because at the beginning of the movie, Shane is this like laconic gunslinger who just shows up out of the blue on this random farmstead, right? And the farmstead's just like, all right, come on. Like when the Rough Riders show up and they're threatening him, Shane sticks around. And he's got his back. So Joe is like, well, you can stay here. We'll feed you and we'll put you to work. You can stay here. And it seems like there's no reason for Shane to be there. But no, later on, you find out Shane has a history with the wife. That's why he showed up. And I think little Joey is actually Shane's son. And Joe Sr. has no idea.
Huh.
It adds a lot more weight to that dance scene. This is the 4th of July celebration they have, and they're having a big hoedown, and everybody's dancing. And the 4th of July happens to be the anniversary of Joe Sr. and his wife. So the town's all celebrating the 4th of July and their anniversary. And there's a scene where Joe sits out and Shane cuts in and dances with his wife. And Joe kind of gives a questioning look at Shane and his wife dancing. And later on, as they're talking, they kind of allude to the fact that there's a history there. And throughout the movie, Shane keeps glancing at his wife, not like glancing, but giving her like familiar looks. So
then if that's the case, then the wife gives the best performance in this whole movie, right? Because she's like, I need to tend. She's like tending to her like her son and her husband, kind of like the whole time. She's like, don't worry, don't get too attached to Shane. Shane's gonna be rolling out.
She's talking to the son, but she's talking to herself.
Mm-hmm.
She's saying, don't get too attached to him because he's just gonna leave. Because she knows,
letting them all know, look, I've done this before.
And that's why she's like, I wish none of y'all had guns because guns ruined my relationship with Shane. So that's the whole underlying thing there.
That makes it a better movie then, because I thought I didn't pick up on that, and I was just like, they're just like building these bad guys to be bad. 2 fucking hours.
I don't know. I liked the story. It's like the homesteaders, and like all the different characters are fun. They get all the homesteaders together for a meeting to figure out what they're going to do about these like Rough Riders who are trying to muscle them out of their land. And like they established that one of the homesteaders is a Civil War veteran from the Union side, and another one is a Civil War veteran from the Confederate side. And they all pick on the Confederate because he's a big fucking loser.
He is made out to be a fucking like simpleton. Like
he is a simpleton. He gets himself killed because he's so stupid.
I mean, if you're gonna join the Confederacy, how brilliant can you be?
Yeah, I mean that's what Confederates do. They get themselves killed chasing down stupid ideas. That's the whole point of the Confederacy. Fucking stupid asses.
Yep.
See, I thought Shane was just smooth as hell.
He
Well,
was.
he could be both.
I mean, just like I didn't really go into that whole underlying.
I didn't get that either. It's not exactly overt.
I was
but-
just like, man, this dude is he's.
Oh, y'all were just like, oh shit.
All right.
Oh no.
Oh,
The
Shane
reason
missed
he's
a
so slick
steal
with
your
the
bitch.
ladies because he knows her. You know, he hath known her, biblically speaking.
Also, yeah, there's no reason for a gunslinger like him to be so willing to work. Like he definitely wanted to be there, and like that reason
Right.
is not so. So that makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense to me. Like that's definitely it.
I was thinking, why is this random gunslinger just showing up at a literal random house? Like, of all
Yeah.
the houses everywhere in the country, he shows up here, and it's just like, I'm gonna hang up my holster and put on this blue shirt and
Yeah.
and chop up a tree stump.
About to say,
You
dig
know.
up that fucking stump.
And
Dig
he's
up
straight
that
up getting
stump.
shit for it. He's straight up getting shit for it. Like the motherfuckers
Right.
making fun of him, and like,
Oh
the
yeah,
assholes at the bar. You know,
Just
it gets
use
in a
some
fucking fist fight.
dynamite. Just use some dynamite.
yeah.
You know,
He like, no.
So
that's
yeah,
that.
he's there to check up on his boy and make sure that they're all right. That's the only reason for a gunslinger to show up on the prairie.
I thought it was kind of different. I thought the kid wanted to fuck Shane because he was kind of like, Shane, I know you don't got no wife, Shane.
Well, he's got that
You like
paternal.
9-year-olds, Shane?
He's got that paternal draw to Shane because they share blood. You see.
The kid is very fair haired. I'll say that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and very narrow eyed. That boy had some close eyes.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense because like there ain't no other reason to have so much. The kid is almost the main fucking character in the damn thing, right?
Exactly.
You almost watch the movie through his eyes or something. You know, almost.
I mean, he is in the book
Basically.
too.
Yeah.
Like,
So, yeah. So, you know, I watched this movie pretty intently and I quite enjoyed it, you know? Like this movie has the quintessential bar fight. You know, movies that we watched growing up have like parodies of bar fights. I always think about that scene in Top Secret when they're underneath the water. Fighting,
Yeah.
and it devolves into like a bar fight with like the bartender and everything.
Yeah, they
Like,
trashed the fucking place. Yeah.
yeah, they trash the place. Yeah. And it's like this big drawn out. They're throwing every single chair gets thrown, every bottle gets broken. You know,
it's like a Mel Brooks movie.
yeah, it's like a Mel Brooks movie. Yeah. It's like that is the bar fight that's being parodied in every movie that we ever saw growing up. You know.
I mean,
So,
the one bit of nuance I did call out later because the guy that's making fun of him for ordering the pop, right, and he starts a fight with him, right?
Chris Calloway, yeah,
is the guy that kind of like he quits the baddies at the end and he goes and tips off Shane that they're gonna kill fucking your
They're gonna
boss
kill
guy
Joe.
when he goes in
Yeah.
there, right?
Mhm.
And then he leaves. He like, I'm fucking off out of town.
Well,
actually.
he picks a fight with Joe to stop him from going. Joe is like, I'm gonna go put an end to this once and for all. La da 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 da.
Yeah,
and
they
Shane gets tipped off by Chris Calloway. Yeah, and that character, he literally gets sense beat into him by Shane in the beginning. He gets his ass whooped in the first act of the movie and then disappears. And they cut to him, you know, they cut to him just being thoughtful in the background, you know. And that's
Yeah.
him like, damn, like, I'm on
Yeah.
the losing side here. Let me think about this.
But I guess he gets replaced by their ringer that they bring in, right? The baddie.
Yeah, they bring in
the
a
bad
ringer,
rancher
yeah.
guy brings in this Wilson gunslinger guy to like
Yeah.
help run off the unarmed settlers, I guess. So, like we need
Yeah.
a bad guy. You know.
Yeah. So
we need a cowboy for some hired killing.
I mean, I guess you're right. I guess there is some nuance. Like the baddie tries everything he can, right? He tries to hire Shane right off the bat after he sees he's a badass, right? He's like,
Right.
You got like the cut of your jib. You whooped on my boys. You know, you want a job? And then he eventually widens this thing and tries to hire Joe, right?
Right.
The,
Yeah,
the
he
dad.
shows
He's
up
like, you
and
know
he's
what? Fuck
like,
it, I'll just
yeah.
hire you if you'll
Let me
fucking
hire
show
you.
up.
I'll buy your ranch, you know, like I'll give you a square deal. I'm just trying to get my land back. And then Joe's like, well, what about the rest of the ranchers that live around here? And Riker, who's the ringleader of the bad guys, you know, he's like, listen, a deck of cards only plays so many hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't cut into everybody. So there's a little bit more nuance than I was expecting going in.
What do you think the deal was, right? Like, all those settlers must have like gone out there after the government opened it up for settlement, right? After like the Sooners or whatever the fuck they're called, or like
Right.
And like, I don't know, what is it, 46 or whenever, like that. So that Riker must have already claimed this whole valley, right? And but then the government opened it up. It was like, everybody go out there and get your plots, go stake it, and then it's yours, right? Because they were
Right.
saying, Joe's like, we got the legal claim, and the government will back us, but the government's not here yet. So that must be what happened, right? That guy must have been trying
Yeah.
to claim the whole shit
Yeah.
when he really couldn't.
He showed up early, claimed the whole valley, and then later on, all these other families moved in and parceled it up and claimed little pieces of
Like
it.
legally, according to the U.S. government,
Right,
They said
yeah.
to do it.
Yeah, because before the Homestead Act was a thing where the government officially declared, you come out here and settle, it's your land legally. But before that, it was kind of like an all this unincorporated territory was just anything goes. And the early people were already out there staking their claims.
Is this the movie where Riker's like, I fought off all the Indians, just mines?
Yeah, exactly.
We
Yeah,
did all the hard
I'm
work.
the one that killed all the Indians. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that was this movie. So yeah, now that I think about it, this movie's pretty all right.
It's all right. It's all right. It's a pretty good movie. You know, I quite enjoyed this one. Not my
I mean, I
favorite of the
chuckled.
week, but not the
I
worst.
chuckled, especially when he has the two shots at the beginning of the bar fight, and he dumps the one on his shirt and the one on his face.
Oh yeah,
I love that.
He punches him, and he goes like through the fucking room, dude. Like
Yeah.
he lands outside somewhere. Like, whoo!
Hell yeah. Yeah, I love that. He's like,
I'm,
well,
I'm gonna buy
bought
you a
me
drink,
shot.
and he fucking throws it on him and
Yeah.
blows him fucking 200 feet out the door.
Yep.
Yeah, they do subvert your expectations there because before he buys a drink and he throws it on Shane, but this time Shane orders 2 drinks and throws one on his shirt and one on his face. So
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
You bought me a drink, I'm gonna buy you a drink.
Hell yeah.
This movie has the weakest gunfight, if that's what you're in these movies for. I wouldn't even, it's hardly a gunfight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like at the end, like it's like 2-hour movie, right? In the last 4 minutes, it's summed up, right?
Yeah.
Like fucking Shane rides into town and fucking shoots the baddies, Wilson and fucking Riker. And that's it.
That's just that.
Rides out into the sunset.
Yep. I mean, and I appreciated how this movie allowed the emotional parts to have some emotional gravity, in contrast to The Searchers, where there's like main characters being killed and it just happens off screen, and then they just move on. And this one, even when the Confederate guy, who was like a big joke the whole time, he runs his mouth and gets himself killed. They have like a nice little like emotional scene where they even like, dude, they kind of got me with the dog. His dog is there at his funeral, like pawing at his grave, and I was just like, ugh, why you got to get me like that, man? Why you got to get me with the dog?
Yep. And if you don't think the bad guys are bad enough, while they're burying the guy, they go fucking light his fucking house on fire.
Exactly. Yeah, they
They're
go burn
like,
another guy's house down.
These
Yeah,
baddies are bad.
But then, like, the community bands together, and they're like, no, we're here, we're together, we're gonna rebuild your house. You know, we're all here. And they're like, you do that for me? You know, it's just like, right there. Get you right there. Shane was a pretty good movie. I quite enjoyed it. It was for one of the more run-of-the-mill movies of the week that we watched. It was quite good.
Yeah, also 1953 is like our second oldest one. So I wasn't
Also,
expecting
really
much.
good backdrops.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Scenery throughout.
Mm-hmm.
Really
Definitely
made me think of Red Dead more on this one, as far as just the way it looks.
Weren't they plugging that in the trailer there? They're like, it's got sweet ass
scenery.
backdrops.
Yeah.
Oh,
when I
were
was-
they in the trailer?
I was doing research on this, and this one actually like broke ground with some of the like landscape cinematography. You know, it was like they hadn't really done it like that before. But it was kind of funny. You could tell when it was a matte painting behind them, and it's just like people with a painting behind them. You can really tell, like it was painfully obvious.
Yeah.
But pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah, check it out if you want to
Check
like
it
watching
out.
some. If your grandparents are in town, put this shit on.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Up next, let's take a look at the Wild Bunch.
I went ahead and threw up that poll, Shane versus Wild Bunch. If anybody in chat would like to voice their opinion, put that in the poll there.
Yeah, cast your votes,
Twitch
chat.
chat.
You've seen these movies.
If
The Wild West was pretty well tamed by 1930.
Oh yeah, and another thing this movie has in common is like this movie takes place in 1913, which is like the dying light of the Old West, just
Yeah.
like Red Dead Redemption 2.
No, that was a balloon, you damned old fool.
No, the old man's right. They got
Oh yeah, they're talking about
60 miles in
the
less
dawn
than
of
an
the
hour.
Driven to the
airplane.
border by the irresistible thrust of civilization. Where the
Yeah, they
remnants
totally had
of
airplanes by
greed
then.
had made the West
Oh yeah.
The
And this
war
is
was about to
year-
break out.
This is the year before World War One broke out. You know, this is much later in time.
Yeah, this is 10 years after even Red Dead Redemption 2. That was like, it's 1900 now, so we
Exactly.
can't be doing all this now. But this is like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, this is 13 years after that.
You're definitely right. This is the most inspired one for that.
Oh, big time. Big
But there
time.
were still a few trails for the kind who'd be cold before they were tamed. They called them the Wild Bunch.
And they really just dropped all these horses in water to make this movie too. Like there wasn't no fucking like
Mike had been a
no
gentleman,
animals were harmed during the making of this movie. At the end of this movie,
No.
they harmed
Still
plenty
had a
of animals in this shit.
well, they got them all tumbling down that hill, and
They were just throwing animals away in this
As
shit.
far as most injured animals on screen, the Searchers was the worst one. Because I was like, oh, yeah, there's some horses that got put down after this scene.
Oh,
This one, there's not any, it's not that many. They get up in this movie.
Those horses in the fucking boxcar when they slam the train back into the boxcar.
Yeah, they just throw the horse over. Yeah.
Thornton should have been a lawyer. He always argued.
Relax. Just some
There's a
champagne.
funny anecdote with this movie. Apparently, one of the guys,
Sykes
one of the
had been a
actors in
gunman
this,
at his
wanted to
day.
be top billed on this movie, and he threw a big fit when he wasn't. So at the beginning of the movie, when they're doing those like derogatory
Sometimes he
freeze
almost worked
frames,
up to normal.
everybody
Oh, it's
freeze
me, my
frames
fiancé.
on their face. When they cut to this guy, they freeze frame on a horse's ass.
yeah.
When they introduce his name at the beginning. And that was the director getting back at him, apparently.
That's funny.
And apparently, there's that scene with the two brothers are canoodling with those three prostitutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are apparently actually prostitutes that
In
were just
Mexico?
happened to be there on scene. It's real interesting. At the end of this movie, they give there's a big special thanks in the trailer, and not trailer, but the credits. It's like extra special thanks to General de Brigadier something or another, because the filmmakers, this movie was actually filmed in Mexico, and they actually had the help of like some Mexican warlord who allowed them to film on set with them, like on his little like encampment or whatever. So like a lot of those scenes were like actual like Mexican warlord hangouts, and all the Mexican prostitutes were actually Mexican prostitutes.
Awesome.
Like, oh, this is where he runs his cocaine through. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, no, literally, it's like literally like the earliest days of like cartel shit, and they're just like,
You sure know where there's an awful lot of neat caves, mister.
So like a lot of that stuff, it wasn't a sound stage, it wasn't sets. They're actually on location with Mexican warlord like hideout, like for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we said it a bunch, but if you've ever played Red Dead Redemption 2, this movie, I mean, that game was heavily inspired by this movie. It's like the dying light of the Wild West era, and you have this gang of ne'er-do-wells who are looking for their last score, their last hurrah. You got your aging gang leader who's just looking for that one last score, and then I'm out, you know. But it never really is that one last score, is it? You know, there's always something goes wrong.
Oh, it's last, all right.
And you start getting a little bit desperate when you start getting your twilight years and you're looking for a last score. You start making mistakes, and things just start going wrong. And like I said earlier, John Wayne derided this movie as killing the myth of the American hero gunfighter. You know, this movie is about a gang of guys, and they're looking for their last hurrah. And there's a former member of them who's who's running a posse under the employ of like the military, who's chasing him down.
He's looking for a corrupt railroad man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they had got him out of prison because he was he was a former member of the gang who had gotten sent down the river.
Mm-hmm. So it's ex-partners versus each other,
and it's you go get him or you go back to prison.
Right.
Yeah, that's a motif in a lot of these movies. The mention of Yuma.
Yuma. Yeah, a lot of these movies mention Yuma.
Yeah,
and a lot of movies mention Cheyenne. I guess the Cheyenne tribe was the American Midwest, one of those last holdout tribes. Whole lot of that. Not in this movie, though, because this movie takes place in Mexico.
Yeah.
Something I was reading is like every time they show them crossing the Rio Grande, the river is running in the wrong direction. I was laughing at that. I'm like, wow, that's some fucking geography nerd shit right there.
100%.
Yeah.
Nobody watching it was like, wait a minute. No, unwatchable. Unwatchable.
You got, Leo DiCaprio pointing GIF.
I will definitely say this is one of my favorites of the week. It's got the gunfights. It's got the automatic weapons.
Yeah, boy.
It's got the blood. It's got the titties.
Yep.
Like,
and Brown in 1917 ain't something.
It's got the last hurrah.
Westerns.
Yeah.
This movie is about bad guys. Like literally everybody in this movie is a bad guy, but our anti-heroes end up redeeming themselves at the end. Because they're one buddy to help out this Mexican general who's like not a good guy at all. And he is he's got his boot on the throat of the Mexican locals. And one of our anti-heroes is from there. And he's like, no, we can't work with this guy. He's oppressing my people. And they're like, whatever, money. So they end up stealing some guns from him so he can arm his people. But he ends up getting caught by the general. And he's being like tortured to death at the end of the movie. So our anti-heroes are torn with the idea of forsaking their money and trying to save their friend. And at the end, they have the last showdown. And they have that iconic scene of them marching shoulder to shoulder to confront this Mexican general and demand their friend back.
I don't understand that part at all. Right?
What I love about that part is after the general does what he does, and they all just like shoot the shit out of him, and then the fucking other guy, and then they all just kind of stand around looking at each other, and like nobody's doing anything, nobody's fucking with him, and they're just like, well, and just start shooting more of them.
Anyway, I started blast.
They're just like,
yeah. Well, we'll kind of went straight to the end there on that, but like they're aging criminals. They have a job. They get the money, but they were tricked, right? Their loot is not gold coins; it's washers. There's washers in there, right?
Because it was a trap.
After that, half of their gang is fucking dead. They got no money, so they escaped to Mexico, right? In Mexico, they align with that general that you were talking about, and take a job from him to rob rifles from the U.S. Army. They take that job.
Interesting bit of world history that was included in this movie is the Mexican general is in cahoots with a German military officer, and that was a real thing. Like the German Reich of in between the First World War and the Second World War, they were trying to expand their empire to North America, and they were actually working with Mexico, the Mexican government, around this time. So that's an interesting little tidbit.
A lot of these are pretty good on the history. Like just like you, Jared, I was trying to bust these guys on their like history, and I was like, searching shit up. I was like, oh, they're right. Oh, they're right again.
They're right. Yeah,
yeah. Like almost every time. So like, you had to be a bit of a history nerd to be into westerns, I guess, or to want to make a western,
right?
This is the only western movie I've ever seen with like magazined pistols.
Yeah, they have like modern pistols. Yeah,
what is that pistol right there?
Yeah, what is that?
That
looks like
a Colt 1907 and several Colt 1911s. There was some Springfield fucking 30-06 1907s, and there was a Browning M1917 machine gun.
That's the first time I've seen that. So I looked at this movie. I was like, when is this movie set? It better be right, boy. Oh, it better be right. Right? Boom. 1913. I was like, oh, it's plausible. Okay.
I did notice that there was one gaffe with that Browning. That Browning came out the year after this movie was actually set. That was one of the. Cause I was looking up gaffes and like tidbits of this movie, and they were like, well, actually, this gun didn't come out until the next year. So, you busted.
I didn't think it was that close. I knew it was too early. I didn't think it was that soon. I thought it was further after, but I knew it was a little too early.
It just goes well with the theme of like the end of an era, beginning of a new era, right? Because the revolver is so iconic for cowboy shit, right? And the scene with that, and it's like, okay, that's
and they bust out like a magazine, like modern handgun, like we think of today. Like it just seems so out of place,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch of them, good old 40 fucking Colt 45 peacemakers, and like some Smith & Wesson cap and ball. There's your classic, Western cowboy guns, but the modern era has reached the West at that point too. Guns are guns. You're gonna start having new stuff.
So, anyways, in our plot of this movie, right, they take that job to steal those rifles. And the Mexican member of their team agrees to forgo his share of the pay if they give one of the 16 crates to like his people who are resisting all these like warlord generals, Pancho Villa and this Mapache guy, which they do. On the way back, they give him one, right? And that is what sets off fucking because already the warlord they're working for does not like the Mexican member of their crew, right?
I forgot about the reason why at the beginning.
Because of old girl,
yeah, he was in love with this girl from his hometown, who had since he left become like a prostitute and was like canoodling with these warlords, and they show up in this town, and he's like, "Oh, that's my old girlfriend." And then she's like licking in the ear of this general, and he goes mad with rage and just shoots her on the spot. Boom!
Yeah, off his lap. It was fucking brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, he already knew that she had left with him because old dude, when he got back to town with them, told him, he was like, "Where is she?" He was like, "Oh, he left with Mapache." And well, he took her, and he was like, he goes, "No, she went with him."
Yeah.
She was drunk with wine and love, and she just left with him.
Yeah, so the scene's already
he was
set.
Mad. He was mad. He was big mad.
For what happens later, right? They go to sell these rifles to turn in their quest pretty much to the Mexican warlord guy. And they do it in batches or whatever. But when they go to sell, when the Mexican guy goes in there with what's his name? Hutch?
Borgnine. Ernest Borgnine. I don't know.
Dutch.
Dutch. Yeah. Right. They have been double crossed, right? Apparently the mother of the lady that he shot, his ex-lady, tipped him off that they stole a crate of weapons and gave to the rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Right, which at that point they pretty much arrest him, and then Dutch leaves and goes back to the crew. And I forgot to mention this whole time they're being hunted by the most ragtag group of bounty hunters you ever seen, led by Pike's, the leader's former partner.
Yeah, his best friend. Yeah.
Yep.
So this is a damn good movie. Yeah.
They have the weirdest code of morals though, right? Because after they did all that, the Mexican guy's been arrested by the warlord. They're old horse tender guy gets ambushed by the bounty hunters, and they're watching it happen. They see he gets shot, and they fucking write his off for fucking dead. They're like, "Oh, fuck him. We're not gonna go fight these 5 fucking bounty hunters that's left. Fuck him." And they go to the warlord's house and take shelter there, pretty much.
I was gonna say that's another parallel to Red Dead Redemption 2, because the old guy that they leave for dead right there, he is just like the character Uncle in Red Dead Redemption 2. The haggard old drunken old guy who's just tagging along with them.
Yeah, which and even when you think that you'll never see Uncle again, he comes back at the fucking end.
Exactly. Just like this guy.
Just like that guy.
The oldest, haggardest one of the bunch is the only one alive at the end.
So what they ended up doing, right, is they have their money. They have they bury most of their gold in the Mexican desert somewhere, and they go back to the warlord guy, and they attempt to buy back their Mexican friend, right, which the warlord does not agree to. I don't really understand their mindset and shit, and there are a lot of their motivations, right? Because they're not they don't really seem like ride or die homies to each other, right?
Not at all.
After they already abandoned the fucking old guy to fucking die in the desert, right? They go there, they're like, "Oh, he won't buy it back," and they go to fucking see hookers, and then the next day they go to see the warlord again. They're like, "All right, give us some back." They have all their guns, right? That scene that you were talking about, they walk 4 abreast, loaded down with guns and shit, right? I don't understand what's their fucking loyalty to that guy.
I mean,
that's the one thing. Up the very previous scene, they're like, fuck them, we got ours, let's move on. That's their character. It's like, let's get ours and go. And then out of the blue, they all give their lives in an epic showdown. It just seems so out of character.
Just have a gore fest. If they wanted to, they should have went and teamed up with the rebels, who fucking show up right after anyways.
Yeah,
right?
5 minutes after the gunfighting ends. Yeah.
So I just don't really get it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It was a great scene, like you guys were saying. The weird standoff. It's an amazing scene.
It's very Tarantino-esque. Watching all these movies, you really see peek behind the curtains with Quentin Tarantino's filmmaking. You can tell what movies he grew up watching, which is all of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll get into that more as we get into the spaghetti westerns, especially because Tarantino straight lifted scenes right out of those movies. So we'll get into that.
Scenes, lines, plots,
But yeah, this movie was just as much the death of the Old West in American pop culture at the time as the movie is about the death of the Old West in 1913. This movie, like I said, dispels a lot of the myths that were portrayed in previous Westerns. This is the first like gritty, dirty, bloody anti-hero movie. There's no like good versus evil here. It's just humans versus humans. So in the same way this movie is about the death of the Old West, this movie is the death of the Old Western.
Definitely, because westerns were much less prevalent on into the 70s. It was a great parallel there. And
we went over a whole fucking thing about that when we made this list, didn't we? About that whole big gap in fucking.
Oh yeah, there's just no westerns in the 80s. Period. There's just not a single one. Like
yeah, there's like 5 actual westerns.
Nobody gave a shit about them. Yeah, they're all ass. Like because everybody was burnt out after like nearly 100 years of western movies. You know.
Yeah. So
the apple cart says, I always thought Tarantino was a better film DJ than he is a director. He steals a lot, but man, he knows exactly when and where to steal. Yes, absolutely. That's a great way to put it. Yeah, he's like a DJ. He curates these scenes in a way. Yeah. And remixes. Yeah.
Which is really, in my opinion, is the best you can do, because everything that you do is going to be stealing in some way. Like there's nothing new under the fucking sun out here.
Yeah. And growing up in the era that we grew up in today's world, I watched a lot of these movies expecting things and being wrong, because I would always expect a twist or an undercut at the end. But this is before the twist and the undercut. This is just straightforward. We already talked about High Noon a little bit, but the whole time I'm watching that movie, it's a suspense movie, and they're building up this noon when the bad guy gets there. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And I'm like, oh man, what if the bad guy shows up and he doesn't want a gunfight? He just wants to say sorry and make amends, you know? Like that would have been like a funny little twist. But 52 is long before the twist, you know? Like
you don't need any fucking bullshit like that.
Yeah. These tropes are being established at this time.
I found that kind of refreshing, to be honest. So, like, they just fight at the end. No fucking bullshit. No fucking Ryan Johnson. Actually, no M. Night Shyamalan. No fucking, you know. It was refreshing. I was like,
no woke twist at the end. Yeah.
That's what you were saying the other day. Is it was great to see you. Oh, he's a bad guy? Pew.
Yeah, Shane, bam, shoot some motherfuckers. The end.
Pew, pew. Ta-da. Problem solved.
So,
bad guy's officially not a bad guy anymore.
So it's just funny taking a step at a time this week and watching these movies that establish the tropes that we grew up with being twisted on and undercut, and you know, and it's funny that everything old is new again, even today, that we now are like, give me the straightforward trope. I'm so sick of twists. I'm so sick of undercuts. Like, just give me the trope. So
dude, when you do get the trope, you're like, whoa, what a twist.
Yeah, whoa, no twist. What a twist.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I will say, fuck, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
If I'm going to go down in a blaze of glory, I'm going to go down like old boy there at the end, flipping the table over and killing about 40 people before he got shot like 8 times and died.
Oh yeah, I do like how in the Wild Bunch, like these 4 guys end up killing about 100 dudes, because they established that he's got about 200 men, and they kill at least half of them motherfuckers.
Yeah,
because they got that mounted like, well, it's not a Gatling gun, but it's a
that's a fucking belt-fed water-cooled machine gun. It is like flat out fucking.
That's another gaffe I read about. Like, there was no water-cooled weapons of that time. It would be another year or so before that came out. But unwatchable.
Yeah.
All right. So Shane and the Wild Bunch, how we feeling?
I like the Wild Bunch. I had a lot of fun with that movie. It was good.
I really, really enjoyed Shane, but I gotta give it to the Wild Bunch for real. Like,
Yeah,
it's kind of a milestone movie, and yeah, a lot of fun, dirty fun.
I'm just saying, if it killed the Western, it did it in an amazing way.
Yeah, went out with a bang, and it's just too good for that reason, and too
went out with a
iconic.
hellified gunfight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely going the Wild Bunch.
Same.
Shane was better than I thought it was, though.
Shane was good. Honestly, honorable mention to Shane. Even though I'm not voting
Right.
for it right here, got to shout out Shane. Great flick. Great flick. Any votes in chat there?
No, I didn't get anybody. If anybody wants to type any in chat, we'll step them quickly.
Yeah, if you missed the poll and you feel like casting a vote for one of these, type it up and I'll tally it.
If there's any big Shane fans out there.
For a straightforward and corny of a movie as it was, like, gotta shout out Shane. Like, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. So that's gonna be Wild Bunch. Okay. So High Noon is gonna beat the pants off the Searchers, which is garbage. And Wild Bunch is gonna beat the pants off of Shane, which is pretty good. Up next, round 2, we're going to have Once Upon a Time in the West versus High Noon. And then The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly versus the Wild Bunch. Man, round 2 is going to be a banger for sure. But first, we're going to take a quick little break and be right back with you. So stick with this chat, and we'll be right back. Howdy, partner. We're back.
Thanks for hanging around there, Pilgrim.
Just, I think you unmuted in Discord.
Howdy, out.
Howdy.
Wham.
I'm gonna do my best, Arthur Morgan. You gotta strain your voice box to do an Arthur Morgan.
You gotta try to sound like you got the bad cancers.
I got the consumption.
Got the consumptions.
Oh, that sounds like Arthur Morgan from the Bronx.
Yeah, no, I can't do it. I can't do the rumble without that happening. Like I can't do it. It eventually turns into that. Doesn't matter what accent I'm trying to do. Eventually, I end up there. Like it's just like
goes all the way back to like the Jewish uncle in the Bronx.
Just go right back. Like,
All right.
All right, welcome back to our Wild West movie classics. Round number 2. Let's get right into it. Heat number 3. Once Upon a Time in the West versus High Noon. So let's take a quick look at the trailer for Once Upon a Time in the West. It says modern trailer, so let's see what that means.
It's got like new metal music on it.
oh God.
Wah!
Biscuit comes on.
What's your name? The place you wanted to go?
Sweet.
Yo, she need that hat to hide that big forehead.
Well, she is from New Orleans, so
The whole time in this movie, she's wearing that like 1960s eye makeup, which is just completely out of era and just like
yeah.
What is weird about
By the
this
end
thing?
of it, that my makeup looks like something entirely different.
The same thing on some of the Mexican horrors in the Wild Bunch. I was like, all right.
You know anything about a man going around
And
Takes you out of
Charles
it.
Bronson, who plays harmonica,
vengeance.
just looks so much like our stupid fucking governor. And it just like
Big fat face.
yeah, that big fat cocaine, like coke bloat face.
On a dark mission.
Who are you?
It just like killed my boner every step of the way.
Yeah, he's not a good looking man. Definitely not.
No. Charles Bronson is not a looker.
The fastest gunner in the West only needs one bullet.
Should have got Carradine somewhere in there.
From the legendary director of Once Upon a Time in America, and the good, the bad, and the ugly, comes one of
the
the
references
greatest
later
westerns
movies. That's why it's
ever
a
made
modern
in cinematic history.
trailer here.
Claudia Cardinelli, Charles Bronson.
This is a good trailer because this trailer is real fucking slow, just like this movie.
Oh yeah.
Jason
Yeah.
Robards,
You gotta watch this movie at 1.5.
At minimum.
Fonda,
Maybe even just crank it up to 2 and say fuck
Crank
it.
it up to 2 and send.
I literally had it on 2 for a lot of times. Yeah.
Fucking, I know Henry Fonda's like the biggest star in this movie, and he's a big star, but I just guess I just don't know what he looks like because he looks like just nobody to me.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
every time
No,
Franklin's on
like-
screen, I'm like, which guy is this again?
Yeah.
Once
like-
Upon a Time in the West.
My fucking millennial ass.
Yeah, dude.
And his tragic backstory. How bad was it? How fucking bad was that?
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of hated this movie.
Me too. Like
This movie kind of sucks.
this movie, this movie is one of those that like it. I want to like it, but it is not bad enough for me to like it, but it is not good enough to be likable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is in that like gray zone of lukewarm bleh.
I was reading about it, and apparently Sergio Leone had sworn off doing westerns and got basically talked into doing one more, and this was it.
He's
So-
like, oh, yeah? You really want to know what you really want one? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll make sure you don't ask that fucking question again.
So he really, really leaned into his like artistic stylings, which is just like 12 minutes of cutting back and forth and people standing around. Like,
He's like, if there's less dialogue, it's more artsy. So
yeah,
let's have real slow, quiet dialogue, and that's how we're gonna do it.
He's gonna cut
movie
back
is-
and forth between squinted eyes for like 4
Yeah.
minutes.
the whole thing's kind of a mess. And even the way they do the big reveal at the end of like who are like hero gunmen is like, it's just like, man, see, I do not care at this point. You are too little too late for me to give a shit.
The harmonica guy is supposed to be the hero gunman.
Yeah, the harmonica guy is the hero gunman, and the reason why he always plays that same tune, I guess, is because back in the day when the bad guys killed his brother, they put his brother up on his shoulders and put a noose around his neck. You know,
So as long as you
where-
can hold him up, he wouldn't die.
as long as he can hold him up, he wouldn't die. And he walks up to him and says, what's he say? Something. I can't remember what he
Yeah,
said.
I don't remember what it was. It was
Something,
bad.
something to the effect of "Don't kill your brother," and then shoves a harmonica in his mouth. And his brother, who is the one in the noose, like says something smart, which they don't even have audio for in the movie, and then he kicks him away to where he'll hang. And when he falls down with the harmonica in his mouth, he ends up playing this tune as he oofs onto the ground with the harmonica in his mouth.
Let me ask you this. I know there's a cutscene that shows all this, right? How young of a man is Harmonica Boy at this time? Is he like a young man or like a kid?
He's like a young man. He's like 16 or 17.
Okay, I was about to say
In-
because
in the
the
fight.
Harmonica guy looks every bit as old as the fucking Frank the bad guy in
Right.
the damn movie. I'm like,
Yeah.
so,
Well,
'Cause
I
he-
mean, this
the-
is
the actor is, yeah.
I mean, this is 19 what fucking what year was that?
60,
This was 68. I want to
yeah,
say
it's after Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So yeah,
Yeah,
so
68. Yeah,
at what point in 68 did they give a damn about age, appearance?
Oh,
no, they tried to.
matching
They
up?
tried to. And, I mean, a little bit. Like in the Wild Bunch, there's some flashbacks featuring the guy that plays Pike or whatever, and they're like, "Fucking get your hair."
the
looking
same
good."
actor with no mustache.
Yeah.
He's young. You can tell he's young.
He's young.
Young.
No, they do a good job with these movies. They tried, but not that well.
They are notorious in these times for casting like 50-year-olds as 25-year-olds. Like,
No, the reason I was asking is I didn't quite make it to the end of this movie, so I just wanted to know that. I read the plot,
Yeah,
so I was like,
yeah.
wait a minute. If he was a young kid, he looks old, So that's what.
Yeah, no, they were just like, wait,
We want to try.
we
to
can get
Ryan
Bronson,
Plot?
but we can get Bronson.
Fucking Bronson. I feel like Bronson wasn't even anybody at this time. Like I feel like he became.
he
big
kind
in
of
the
was.
70s.
Henry Fonda was the sell of this movie.
Yeah.
And he was cast against type. I don't know anything about it because I'm not a fucking boomer. But apparently Henry Fonda always played good guys in every single one of his movies. which is why when this movie came out, it was such a big deal that Henry Fonda played the bad guy.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can only imagine what that was like.
Yeah, his blue-eyed ass.
It would be for us like seeing, I guess, Keanu Reeves being
or Kurt
playing
Russell or
like
something,
playing like the big bad, you know. It's one of those things that
Oh,
just
I
kind of
mean-
grates you the wrong way.
Kurt Russell was the bad guy in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
And Keanu Reeves was the bad guy in Neon Demon.
Yeah, we're not saying it didn't happen, but also that's a bit different because he's like, it's like the trick. It's like what a
It's a
twist.
what
He's
a
the bad
twist.
guy.
Yeah, yeah, it's the subversion of expectation. for
He is
sure.
really nice the entire time. He's like, hey,
You wouldn't
welcome."
expect it because it's Kurt Russell, bro. Like that's the
He's the universal hero, you know. Yeah,
Captain Ron, son. Like,
Captain Ron.
Exactly.
But it's not a twist. Frank is the bad guy from the jump on this. Fucking framing motherfuckers.
Yeah. This movie, it's got too many characters. I can't keep track of them all.
It
'Cause
almost
there's,
doesn't
like,
matter.
There's like the Cheyenne. He's like a gang leader, and he gets framed for killing the fucking family by the
Yep.
actual bad guy, who is just somebody. I don't know. And he's working with some like railroad tycoon. I don't know. He's
Well,
got
yeah.
some like wasting disease. I don't know. Like this movie just moves through shit and brushes over shit and hangs on shit. I don't know.
The whole reason the railroad's involved is because they want the land that fucking old dude's wife has got.
Yeah, the Irishman he and his family are murdered at the beginning of the movie because he buys up all this land that nobody wants, right? It's just a bunch of desert, nobody wants it, but he speculates that the railroad is going to come through here, and when it does, he's going to be in the money, right? So, I guess the railroad person, he hires the actual bad guy to go and scare him out of the deed, but rather than scaring him, he just murders him. Blah, 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 blah. But none of them knew that his wife was coming, so they
Which is a
thought they were
prostitute
going
from
to
New Orleans.
A prostitute from New Orleans, right?
Mm-hmm. He's secretly married.
Yeah, they were secretly married ahead of time. So they thought this land was going to be just open season, but they didn't know that there'd be a wife showing up inheriting it. So now they got to contend with that. So it's just a big convoluted mess that had no reason to be 3 hours long.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, the big
And-
bad frames like the other gangster guy, Cheyenne, for the murders, right? Which pisses him
Right.
off. And then he kind of works with our mystery fucking gunslinger guy, the Charles Bronson guy, to make shit right, more or less.
Yeah. And he's only here because he's got personal beef with the actual bad guy.
Yeah.
And they don't make any of that clear until like the very, very end.
Yeah.
It's so convoluted, and maybe artsy people like it, like movie artsy people. Maybe so Klaus was like jerking off to this, but not me. I'm like, I'm kind of bored.
Yeah, this movie is like snobby cinema in that it like insists upon itself, you know, to an extent. However, shout out to the first black actor we saw all week in the opening of this movie.
Who
The
dies
one
in
and
the
only,
first
like-
scene, bro.
Yeah. But we have a
was
black
a-
actor.
There was a black guy
That is big.
Was a black
in
guy.
a movie for like 30 seconds.
Bro, you know fucking John Wayne went off about that. He's like, what?
What?
We heard about that. He was like, oh, those Italians.
Wait, no, at the end when they were building the town, there was a bunch of black guys that were out there that were workers.
Well, he was
Yeah.
fine with that.
At the very
This movie
end. Or, you know, John Wayne thought it was like, well, that's where
in the rest of these movies, they don't even show black people in like subservient roles. There's just no black
Right.
people. Like they didn't want black actors on their sets, like in these movies. So, you know. But yeah, this movie, it's got like from a cinematic standpoint, it's got some really pretty stuff. I like a lot of their match cuts, like when they shoot the little boy and they do a match cut from the pistol being shot to the like the gun smoke to the train steam, how they transition there. You know, so there's lots of stylistic points, but that's it. This movie is all style and no substance for sure.
What are we gonna do with this one, Frank?
But now that you call me by my name.
Yeah, way to offload the blame there, Frank.
Yeah.
Way to offload the blame, Frank, as you're grinning about to shoot a fucking 12-year-old.
Yeah, you're having way too much fun
I don't
murdering
even
this
think that
12-year-old.
kid was 12. I think he was like 8
He's
or
like 10.
9.
Yeah. But yeah, this movie is way too far up its own ass, and I just didn't care for it, honestly.
That movie's so far up its own ass it can see the back of its teeth.
All that being true, it does kind of feel a bit ahead of its time, just how it's shot and all. Like, I wouldn't believe this was like 68.
Yeah,
it's
100%.
People like learned from this and made future media, which is why that is, I'm sure.
Yeah. And if you watch like the cinematic stylings in which it's shot, like Tarantino for sure. Like Tarantino fucking he watched these Sergio Leone movies and basically stole from them, you know, like every Tarantino movie is like an homage to Sergio Leone movies, and it's abundantly apparent now that I'm watching these Leone movies.
But that's Once Upon a Time in the West,
yeah,
versus OG High Noon.
Yeah,
which is fucking straightforward, pretty much less convoluted.
Yeah. And High Noon was actually really, I would say it's pretty fucking ahead of its time as well.
Yeah.
It felt almost like
it's almost 20 years prior. Almost.
Yeah.
But the way that they build that suspense was next level, you know. Like I found myself on the edge of my seat watching that movie, just because of the way it's built up, that hopeless feeling. You know, I felt that.
Yeah, I felt like it was made by like the Hitchcock of westerns.
That crane shot at the end. You know, it's just one little shot, but they show him. He walks out into the street, and the camera just like pulls back like 2 stories into this guy and just shows him standing in this open town center all alone, just perfectly encapsulated that loneliness, that helplessness. And he's just like looking around like, here we go, you know, like that had to be one of the earliest crane shots, period. Just period. And that probably, it wasn't like a common thing back then. Previously, I thought the first crane shot was in a Steve McQueen movie, but obviously not.
Cameras are big. They probably loaded a camera onto a crane with like an operator hanging off of it.
Oh yeah.
All right, y'all belt them on here.
Yeah. Dude, back then they were just like, all right, we're just gonna load the camera operator into a catapult. Nice knowing you, buddy. You know, like, and just fucking try to roll when you land.
Tuck and roll, motherfucker. Don't break my camera.
Oh, apparently they were even used in silent films, so it goes like back to the beginning. They're like,
oh yeah.
People have been sticking cranes on sticks or cameras on sticks for a long time.
So I'm going High Noon on this one. It's just a much more enjoyable movie.
Oh yeah.
High Noon was one of the most succinct movies of the entire week, you know. The fact that it's almost in real time, like 1 IRL minute is 1 minute in the movie, and you just watch that clock tick away, and our main character goes from like bold and brash to like kind of scared and meek by the end, and I don't know,
To
really,
me,
really well done.
The fact that it does so much more with literally half as much time
Yeah.
as some of these other movies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
It makes it way
is
more ingestible.
filled out way better
Mm-hmm.
in that 90 minutes than.
And I
Like,
just boil that
if
down to
you-
better storytelling. When you can tell
Like, if-
more with less time, like that's just better
Like,
storytelling.
I'm just saying, like, some of these movies, you could eliminate just dead space and it would still take the movie down to,
Oh yeah.
and it would leave it as like an episode of a fucking sitcom.
And a lot of times I watch the movies that we watch at an increased speed because I don't have all the time in the world and I gotta watch a lot of movies, so I watch them a little bit faster. And I know that takes away from like their artistic vision, that the director had in mind. But there's only so many hours in the day. I only got so much time. So
And
I have to
I'm sorry if you can watch The Searchers at regular speed.
Oh yeah,
man.
A lot of these movies this week, I forgot that I was watching sped up because they're so drawn out that they felt completely normal watching at 1.5 speed or 2 speed. Like.
Yep.
So
there's no 90-minute flicks on this list. It's like 2 hours, 2.5. It's
No,
like the average.
High Noon is the shortest one.
Yeah, High Noon is an
90
hour and a
minutes.
half. It's a 90-minute movie, and it's a 90-minute
It's
timeline.
Yeah.
It's basically fucking minute per
Basically
minute.
1 for 1. Yeah. So
And it really shows in how it's like just a cut above the rest, in my opinion.
High Noon is really the dark horse of the week for
Mhm.
sure. Like it came out of nowhere and shocked me with how much I enjoyed it.
I mean, a more ingestible movie is a more enjoyable movie.
Oh yeah, it doesn't do you any good if you can't digest it for sure. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So I'm throwing my hat in with High Noon.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I hate to be so black and white in all this.
It's
It's just how it is. Like it's a very binary week. Like the movies are, these aren't movies we would normally be watching.
Some movies are good and
So-
some of them ain't.
Yeah.
Nobody's
Yeah,
super
we're definitely
crazy.
stepping out of the comfort zone this week for sure. That's good. That's the point of this show.
Yep.
So
yeah,
High
I'm going
Noon.
High Noon. I can't think of a single reason to vote for Once Upon a Time in the West. Like
the cinematography, but that's
not
it.
enough. It's made for shit storytelling.
Yeah.
Sergio was an acid head. So,
Right. Yeah. That movie is just so far up its own ass, like just sniffing its own farts, like ugh,
Just cupping them farts and just
yeah.
One thing. Let me say about Once Upon a Time in the West. Right. There's towards the beginning. Right. She goes into a bar. She gets into town. Right. And they're introducing the harmonica guy. Right.
Yeah.
And they actually mix diegetic music, like he's playing the harmonica, right? So you hear
Right.
harmonica music with non-diegetic music, like they play other instruments along with it. I thought
Right.
that was very weird. Anybody else
Mhm.
pick up on that in that scene? I was
Yeah,
like, wait a
you-
minute.
Yeah.
I had a hard time discerning what
Yeah.
music was diegetic and what wasn't.
There's
Yeah.
no band in that bar. It's just
Yeah.
him. Like it was very weird and kind of off-putting to me a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, no, dude, the fucking harmonica music, oh my god, I was so tired of hearing it.
Oh,
He's not playing it very
yeah.
well. He's not playing like in a
It-
ear-friendly
you know,
way.
Both
I
of
mean,
those movies, High Noon and Once Upon a Time in the West, have a repeating musical thing that repeats the same musical thing over and over again. But High Noon has a folksy, hokey song. Oh, don't you lay with me, my darling. While Once Upon a Time in the West has that grating, and I really mean grating harmonica. Like
Mm-hmm.
I hate it. But speaking of cinematography, I super loved in High Noon when they move into Act 3 and the clock strikes 12, and like they have the music builds up, that intense music, dun, 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 and then it's just silence as the clock strikes 12, and it's just that silence is just shattered by the train whistle, you know, because like that's what you're waiting for.
Yeah,
dude, I had goosebumps, man. That scene, I just had goosebumps, dude.
Hitchcocking is the best way I could describe that fucking movie. You know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
No, they Hitchcocked it the fuck up.
And it's a very stereotypical thing now when in storytelling. You know, obviously, you want to show, don't tell. That's the whole thing. But when you have a good guy, you have to have your good guy save the cat. That's the coin that's been the phrase that's been coined.
To endear you to the guys.
Yeah, you save the cat so that you show you're a good guy, and they do that in High Noon. He's in the gunfight with the guys in the barn, and they throw the torches and light the barn on fire, and like he's being gunned down, and he's being smoked out, but he still stops and he saves the horses. He lets the horses out, and I was "Mwah, fucking High Noon, bro. High Noon really, really wet my whistle this week." All right.
You're like, oh, gunfight.
It's funny. They actually do that in a kids movie that I've been watching lately called The Bad Guys.
Yeah.
The wolf literally climbs up into a tree and saves the cat to show everybody that he's like a good guy now.
Yeah. There's like the book on screenwriting right now, like the screenwriting Bible is a book called Save the Cat.
Oh, and he's wearing like a sheep onesie. It's hilarious.
Nice. All right. So our next heat is going to be The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly versus The Wild Bunch. It's our last new movie, last trailer of the night. Let's take a look.
See, things happen around here that you don't expect.
The good. The bad. The ugly.
What? They mixed that up.
Yeah. You know, Angel Eyes ain't the ugly.
See, I'm a big Civil War nerd, and this movie had me fucking bonerific. Like,
I was a dumb. I was like, was there a Civil War action in the West? But yeah, there was.
A little bit, yeah. Well, in the Civil War, when they talk about the Western theater, they're talking about like the Mississippi River, you know. Like there wasn't really a whole
this movie.
Yeah, there wasn't really a whole lot of action west of the Mississippi.
How fucking is it dusty enough to cover up your Union uniforms in Mississippi? I don't think so.
I mean, there was a little bit of action in like the territories. That's what they were back then.
Yeah.
Like, they were like the fucking territories. But yeah, when you talk about the Western theater in the Civil War, you're talking about Tennessee. You know what I mean? You're talking about Kentucky, Mississippi.
So I was
Like,
right to feel that way. This movie is
That's
straight
as
up
Western
again
as it gets.
in Monument Valley and shit. You know, they're like
Yeah.
in the high desert, right? Being like,
Bro, he
oh,
wouldn't have had to beat his ass. He fucking broke his ankles.
The showdown.
But that's not to say there wasn't battles farther out west. They just weren't as integral to like the war.
The goal.
Like there was fighting in Florida. Like it didn't make a shit, but there was still a lot of fighting.
Yeah.
I'm sure there were Civil War battles in like Colorado. Nobody gave a shit, but there they were.
really those cheekbones, bro.
Bro, Lee Van Cleef, I got a man crush, bro.
The unfortunate.
I got a new man crush.
That's a good looking man.
He's just like he's got a haunting look about him, man.
Yeah, he looks like fucking Stretch from goddamn Casper, bro.
He looks like the devil in the flesh, you know. Like if I wanted a character that was like Satan as a person, I would want Lee Van Cleef.
I had Googled him, and there was something that was saying like he was recommended to get like a nose job so he could play like sympathetic roles.
Really?
I don't know if he ever did, but he definitely has a certain look, you know.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The bad look.
The bad, yeah, man.
Yeah, Tuco's the ugly.
Yeah, Tuco's definitely the ugly. Bro, that movie had me cringing, dude. The makeup in that movie is so good. And Tuco is like wandering the desert in the very beginning of the movie, and like he finally shows up at this town and he's like drinking the horse water and shit. Like his chapped ass lips had me like, ugh, that's just gross. Like
For mid-60s, they had really good makeup effects, man.
yeah, you can and watching this 4K rendition, you could really see it, and it holds up so well.
Mm-hmm. You know that peely fucking blisters that they had going on fucking Eastwood's
Clint
face.
Eastwood? Oh yeah. Kayla walked up and I was watching that. She's like, "Wow, that makeup's really good." And I'm like, "Right?" You know. So,
Unfortunately, when you watch this movie, you know what's going to happen because it's the prequel.
Is it?
It is the prequel to the other movies.
I've never seen the other movies, and a lot of people were saying, like, it's interesting that you picked the third movie in the trilogy, but like, that shit doesn't fucking matter. When you watch this movie, this movie stands alone. There's nothing about this movie that's like, oh, I wish there's something I'm missing. You know, there's another part of the story that happened before. Nothing about this movie alludes to anything before or after. Like,
yeah, the main guy doesn't even hardly talk. Like, it's not like there's like plot points to fucking.
Well, you know he's gonna live.
Say Blondie's about the most
about
of the
it.
name he ever gets.
Yeah,
that's what I was alluding to. You know, there at the end, you know he's gonna
live.
You know
Okay.
he's the one that's gonna win.
Gotcha.
Essentially, you know who's walking away.
Yeah.
I will say when I googled the cast of this and I saw that Tuco is played by like the most Jewish guy I've ever seen, I was like, "What the hell?" I guess that was the old day. Fucking, I was expecting like at least a Mexican guy.
A whole lot of brown face this week, that's for sure. Like,
yeah,
yeah, whole lot of brown skin makeup, that's for sure.
Yep.
This show's canceled.
No. The guy that plays
We're on a
Tuco,
list now.
the only other movie I've seen him in is called The Holiday, right? Where he plays like an old Hollywood writer guy. Like you might recognize him because the old picture that it shows on there, right? And he's not Mexican in the slightest, even though the character Tuco is like pretty much supposed to be Mexican, like at least the way they dub him.
Eli Wallach. Oh wow, yeah. Look at this guy.
It's funny.
Oh man,
I didn't know he played in this movie.
This guy just looked like he just turned me down for a loan application.
All right, that's a bit far. All right, I was just saying like
Damn.
Yeah,
Company's
bro,
canceled.
I just got denied.
Damn.
That's so funny. Wow, he lived a long time, dude. He was a walking corpse for a minute.
like 2014
Holy
or something.
shit.
Yeah.
Dude, some of these pictures, he looks like a straight up like cadaver.
Bro, Clint Eastwood's still alive. How fucking old is Clint Eastwood's old?
Oh my,
ass?
he's gotta be 90.
He literally, you want to talk about walking cadaver?
Yeah, I was about to say he is dead in all but technicality.
He's all
he is
demented,
92.
talking to empty chairs and shit.
I
bro.
watched the last movie. What was the last movie he did? I think it was the one with where he's a mule.
The Trouble with the Curb or whatever, like the baseball one.
No. This is his last like action role, I guess. Was he's doing this thing where he's an old dude who's a mule for the cartel. and he looked shitty in that movie, and that was like 8 years ago now. Or
if
some
you're
shit.
90, you've been old as shit for like 30 years. Like,
Yeah. Go ahead and die already.
Dude, all right, Bets, is he gonna make it to 96, like the fucking Queen's age? What do y'all think? Yay or nay? Is this old bastard he's probably gonna live forever. We're not gonna get rid of Clint Eastwood anytime soon. I don't think, because he sucks.
Yeah,
it's all the lead poisoning.
Bitter old bastard is gonna outlive us all. Like,
evil is the best preservative.
It is. I'm telling you.
Does somebody want to take a whack at the plot of this fucking movie?
Oh Lord,
this is the longest movie of the week right here.
It's long as shit.
2 hours 58 minutes.
It's a gold hunt.
Oh, so to try
It's a
and
gold hunt.
I'm trying to figure out how to sum up the plot of this into something that isn't like sitting here having a.
Basically, there's treasure and it's buried in a grave, and there's 3 people, and one person knows the graveyard it's in, and another person knows the actual grave it's in, and the third person is the bad guy who's trying to steal it from him.
Yeah, but it's like halfway through the movie they find out that information. It's like
right.
Yeah.
So
I was about to say, to begin with, it's Angel Eyes is trying to find the dude that had the money. Right. And for like the first like third of the movie, fucking Tuco and Blondie are just
they're running a scam, right?
they're running a scam because both of them are wanted, and they'll get fucking Tuco turned in for the money and get the fucking money, and then fucking Blondie would shoot the rope to get fucking Tuco free, and they would fucking skip town with the cash.
Yeah, they're going from town to town doing this over and over again.
So they have a tenuous like
partnership. They have some tensions, shall we say, between the two of them. Constantly doing mean things and then swearing they love each other.
Yeah.
He's like, you want to get on the rope?
But this is the movie that has the scene that Tarantino straight up stole. And Inglourious Bastards, the opening of Inglourious Bastards. Have you guys seen that movie?
Yep.
At the very beginning,
At
the very beginning, the Nazi officer shows up at the French farm, and he sits down. And he has a very amicable conversation, and he's drinking the milk or whatever, and the whole thing leads up to him like killing people. That was lifted straight out of Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. When Lee Van Cleef, the bad, shows up at this farm, this like Mexican farm.
It's like the opening scene, isn't it?
It's not the opening scene, but it's
real early.
It's the introduction of our Van Cleef, Angel Eyes. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, he just shows up, and they have a very tense scene where he just like walks into the dining room, sits down. They both start eating dinner, like with the intense eyes across the table. They talk, and it ends with him murdering the guy and leaving. So, like, clear Tarantino inspiration there.
He didn't just kill the guy and leave. He got the money from him to go back and kill the guy that hired him.
Yeah.
And then told him, I never leave a job incomplete, and shot him, and then went back and killed the fucking guy.
That was fucking funny.
And he's like,
He's
when I'm
getting
paid.
paid on top of getting paid, but he always does the job.
Yeah, that's how we play RPGs.
Yep.
Yeah, try to get
Ain't
those
it?
quest
That's
rewards.
true. He's
Ain't
double and triple dipping. Yeah.
Double up them quest rewards.
That's
man.
just smart.
Yeah, that's how we play Divinity 2. We literally like get a quest, do it, and then kill the quest giver for
Yeah,
extra
get it back.
experience.
Yeah. It's based on this game. It's based on this movie. That's where that
Hell
came
yeah.
from. That's why I think the bad is the best character in the fucking movie. Because to be honest, I'm really not interested in Clint Eastwood's character, and I really don't care what he's doing with Tuco, right? However, I am interested in how the bad like infiltrated like the Union Army, and he's like in the camp as like one of them. You know, I'm interested in that. You know,
Yeah. How did that happen? When did that happen?
Yeah, I don't even know. I
mean, it doesn't explain it, but I'm just saying I'm more interested in the bad than the ugly or the good in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love Tuco. Like that character.
Oh yeah.
He's fucking annoying. He's gonna double cross you. Like, don't go. You can't go anywhere with that guy. You can't take him anywhere.
Fucking Tuco and Blondie are both gonna fucking double cross each other constantly.
Yeah. I love how this movie's kind of humorous too, like the relationships, like the interpersonal relationships.
That's what I'm saying.
Tuco and Blondie.
No, that's
it's
a
like
toxic
brutal,
relationship.
and it's toxic and it's brutal, and they're trying to literally kill each other. And he's like, literally, like, hang yourself. I'm gonna shoot the legs off of the stool you're standing on. But it's almost like, you old snake in the grass, you old devil, you know. It's like kind of cute and folksy.
They both make each other march like 70, 80 miles across the fucking desert with no water. And they do this to each other.
But it's almost still like a loving relationship.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like at times it's like this close to homoerotic.
Like, oh, you jokester, you almost hung me that time, but I got you back when I almost hung you.
Almost hung you too.
Almost at the very end, I thought he was for real about to kill. He about to let Tuco die. The very, very end.
No, you know he wasn't going to because he let them have the money there, right? So what's the money gonna do? Just chill?
I don't know.
You knew he wasn't because he left half the money.
But it was just funny, and he
he's
rides
like,
off
I'm
into
just
the
gonna
horizon, and like from the
make you
distance,
feel
he
like
shoots the
this.
rope, and Tuco's like, "You son of a bitch!" Even though he's got half the money,
just wanted you to feel that noose get a little tight one last time.
And you know what it almost reminds me of? It almost reminds me of the comical interpersonal relationships from like Star Wars. It's almost like a 3PO and R2 kind of a thing, back and forth, where they're like always at each other's throats, but they love each other.
I don't know.
I mean, that's a bit of a stretch. I know, but
well, there was that one time when Chewbacca got into autoerotic asphyxiation, and they had to get him off the rope. It was that. That's the closest I could think of. But this is a pretty good movie. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's pretty good. Like, it's got some humor. It's got a lot of long shots. Again, it's very, Sergio Leone obviously did this too.
Yeah. It's a bit over long. It could have been 30 minutes shorter. It could have been a cool 2.5 hours long rather than 3 hours.
It's a hell of a romp. But they go all the way through like Civil War battles. They're like in the middle of it, and
oh yeah, and that got my blood going for sure.
Oh, they went.
Y'all know me.
So many different shits.
Yeah, and then they blow up a fucking bridge right after that.
Yeah, I love that. They show up at they like waltz into like a Civil War battle like going on. They bring the captain. The captain's fucking 3 sheets to the wind.
Oh, he's
like,
drunk.
What are you doing here? And he's like, "Oh, we want to enlist." And he's like, "You do? Come on in." Like,
when he was just super drunk,
have
bro, I
some
was like, wow.
Litchki.
Yeah, but it's like you got to pass a test first. Here, and hands him a bottle of liquor.
Tuco turns that bitch up, and he's like,
"Oh yeah,
you're gonna make colonel.
Like, you're gonna be a colonel." Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was
he's
the
like,
entire. Go ahead.
Yeah, the captain's like, "This damn bridge. I wish I could just blow it up, but he can't because he has orders." And they blow it up, and the captain, he's like dying on the stretcher, and he looks over, and they blow it up, and he's like, "Yeah." Like smiles and dies. Like that bleak, comical, like it's such a comical movie. You know, it's almost like a
It's almost
it's almost like a comedy of errors. And like,
yeah,
I don't know. I really enjoyed this one for sure.
Apparently, this whole movie was shot in like Spain or some shit, right?
Yeah.
And the whole fucking movie is dubbed. Just every fucking thing you hear.
Oh yeah,
it's obviously dubbed, and that could have been better, but it was the mid '60s. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, there's some they're all trying to like. Sometimes the actors are like mouthing the American or the English words, and some just don't at all.
yeah.
When like the little like half Confederate comes up at the beginning, and he's like a little half man, and he's like talking to I think he's talking to Angel Eyes. I forget who he's talking to, and he's just not even trying to speak English at all. It's just like
the mouse
straight dubbed. Yeah.
Another fucking kind of funny thing is where like what Clint Eastwood and Tuco there are going in the desert, and they got their wagon, and they see what they think are Confederate soldiers approaching, right? And they're like, "Hey, let's flag them down, right?" But it turns out they're actually Union soldiers, super fucking dusty. It's kind of like it's kind of a funny moment.
Womp, womp,
That
womp.
one. They're like, and then they immediately get arrested and sent to the camp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think they were wearing Confederate uniforms at the time, so they
they had gotten the Confederate uniforms.
They had been using the Confederate uniforms they had took from them dead guys in the
a little nice
Like in
touch just after that scene when they're in the Union camp or whatever, and the train shows up, and they've got the guy like strapped to the fucking cow rake in front of the train.
Yep.
And he's got like the Confederate spy sign on him.
Yeah.
It's very like Mad Max-esque, where they have like the prisoner just like strapped to the front of the train.
Yeah.
And he's just wasting away out there.
Was this movie trying to say something about the Union? Like, are they saying that like they're drunk barbarians, the Union, them? Like, what the fuck are they trying to say there?
Yeah, there's a lot to say about the either side and a lot of these movies, especially. But
yeah,
because the Old West is so moved by the Civil War, like a lot of the Old West is immediately following the Civil War.
So a lot of veterans on either side, huh?
Yeah,
out there.
And that's why I like Shane, because it had like two different veterans in the same community, you know.
Yeah,
and they were picking on the right one.
Yeah, they were picking on and that's like the bad guy in Shane. What was his name?
Wilson.
Wilson.
Riker.
Yeah, Wilson for sure. And he's shit talking the Confederate. He's like, they call you Stonewall. That you must be a dumb fuck because you're named after a dumb fuck. Like, yeah, you're all trash, you Confederates. And I'm just like, yes, I know you're the bad guy, but yes.
All right, we get it. If you were Shane, you would have been like hired by Riker. you would have been the baddie. You would have fucking fucked Shane up.
Hey, all Wilson did was take a paycheck and be a Yankee. All right. And if that's so bad, then I guess I'm bad.
And he gets fucking shot up.
Hey, died a hero.
So we got like one of the most like kind of unique looks at a Western in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which I think is like kind of the peak of the spaghetti Westerns. You got to do this when you say that. Versus like the best goddamn Western ever, The Wild Bunch. This is the only one there might not be a blowout, but I just enjoyed The Wild Bunch better. It was also pretty long, and the story didn't make a whole lot of sense at the end to me. But I don't know. I just liked it better. I just like the end of an era. Times changing, because times always should be changing. So I think people will identify with that forever, right? 'Cause time
Oh,
marches
yeah.
on. So
Time marches on. And me, even now, I'm very quickly turning into an old man. And
It
time is
happens
changing
quick,
on
bro.
me.
It happens
Time
fast.
is,
You know
time
what's
is changing
funny?
on me
Like,
right now. Go for it.
I'm gonna date this podcast. Like the fucking, the Queen died this week,
Yeah.
and like, I obviously have no allegiance to the fucking Queen,
Oh,
other than
absolutely not.
she's just been a symbol my whole life, my parents' whole life, my grandparents' whole life, right?
Yup.
So for no other reason than that it's just a symbol of time's changing. Like, I'm kind of sad by
Mhm.
it.
Yeah,
Like, I'm getting older.
yeah. The Queen dying is just like the ringing of the clock. The clock is striking midnight, and it's a whole new day. And yeah, absolutely.
Of course, she died the week we do like our most whitey ass Americana fucking list.
Damn straight. Yeah,
America.
I could give a shit about the Queen dying. Like,
yeah.
Well, if
I'm-
you
I-
listen to our show, you know how we feel about dead people.
look at my
Fuck 'em.
Facebook. There's not a single mention of the fucking Queen, because I don't care one way or fucking another. I'm not making any jokes. I'm not making any condolences. I don't give a fuck.
Oh no, I'm gonna
Not
make
my
jokes.
country.
I don't give a fuck.
I'm gonna make
Dog.
jokes. I'm gonna make jokes. I'm gonna post
I
memes.
do
I'm gonna
not
shit post.
care.
What I'm gonna do.
And that's all I
I
gotta say
don't give a
about
fuck
that.
about it either. I don't give a fuck about it either. She don't affect my life.
You
at
give
all.
a little bit more of a fuck than me. I've seen your Facebook, sir.
about the Queen. I love memes.
I only bring it up for the changing of the era-ness of it, which relates to the Wild Bunch, which was a fucking end of an era.
Yeah.
Deal.
No, I feel you. That was our current events section of the podcast.
I'm just saying, I like funny shit.
No, I feel you. But you know what I say? I'm gonna go with the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's what I'm gonna say. That's what I'm gonna say.
Controversial. So you like whitewashing Hollywood? I gotcha.
Heard
Gotcha. Whites playing Mexican characters.
I'm a sucker for Civil War battles. Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right. I'm playing into my typecast here. I thought I dug the humor of it and the style. It had all the style that they had in Once Upon a Time in the West, while also having a good story. This movie did everything right that Once Upon a Time in the West did everything wrong. And the Wild Bunch was great, and I love it. But I got to give a tip of the hat to Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, just because it had that little bit more for me. You know what I'm saying? And I love Red Dead Redemption 2. And the Wild Bunch is definitely the inspiration for that. So much there.
Yeah.
But
there's so many direct 1-for-1 fucking lift right from Wild Bunch into Red Dead 2.
Oh yeah. So much.
What's funny is Red Dead 1 is the only one that features a fucking car in it, which they don't let you drive by the end of it, which did piss me off. And there's that scene in the Wild Bunch
So you
where
know
they're like marveling at the car.
Fuck Red Dead. Fuck that game. Unplayable.
It's a dead game. I did though pull up anybody out there in chat wants to
I'm
vote
still
on
playing
it.
it.
Actually, and you can't put the word ugly in Twitch polls because you can't talk about people's physical appearances.
Are you serious? It
You
won't
can't
let you put ugly?
I had to take ugly out. I knew exactly what they were talking about. They said this doesn't meet our guidelines.
Wow, dude. Wow. That is so ridiculous. Dude, yeah. I couldn't put a few weeks ago, I couldn't put loony in
Yeah,
the
you can't put Looney
in the Go Live. Yeah, it was like, oh, this goes
Good bag of
mental illness people.
Wow, dude. Wow.
That's a stretch for me, and I'm
That's
pretty
fucking
much with
ridiculous.
that.
Yeah. That's beyond a stretch. That's fucking stupid, man. You know, and that's why we can't. That's probably why we can't get viewers. We are the antithesis of what the algorithm wants. I am.
Yeah, for white guys talking, they're not about it.
I'm an outlaw
We're
when it
victims
comes
here.
to algorithms. Like I'm wanted. You got a big picture of me. Oh, speaking of which, I wrote this down.
You're pretty much Bon Jovi.
In The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, at the beginning, when they have the wanted picture of Tuco, it's like a modern photograph.
Yeah, seriously. It's like a fucking like.
glued
I was
on.
thinking about that. I was like, how do they print that? Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck kind of press?
It's
they
like a
got?
straight up modern photograph, like not a drawing, not an old like nothing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, they unroll that and you're like, oh, okay, that is.
And he's just grinning like an idiot at the camera. It's like obviously taken on set that day. Like,
All right, so I think we need 2 more votes here. Eric, Cargo, what y'all thinking?
Good, bad, ugly. That's where I'm going.
What did chat say?
No participation.
Well, then I guess we're going to the coin.
chat said, "Fuck this show."
I'm
These guys
good
are
either way
not
on this
woke
one.
enough for
These
me.
are both pretty good. These guys love the Civil War, bro. What?
To the coin.
Yeah.
To the coin.
They're both good movies. These are good ones.
They're great movies. Yeah.
Fine.
Actually, you know what? I think I like High Noon a little better than Good to Bad, but whatever.
Let's
High Noon,
say
yeah.
Good, the Bad, the Ugly is gonna be heads, and Wild Bunch is gonna be tails.
All right.
Here goes. It's heads.
Good to Bad.
Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Woo.
Takes it.
I win.
Takes on the coin flip.
Oh, well, this makes the next one easier for me, I guess.
Yep.
Semifinals.
Semis.
All right.
Yeah, for me, this is probably the tightest fucking.
Yeah,
cut
this is
here.
also fucking difficult for me. High Noon versus Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Ah,
That's a high nooner for me.
yeah.
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 It's
More
actually
injectable was more enjoyable. It's 90 minutes versus 3 hours.
Yeah.
that's true.
Honestly, I
half as
think
long.
I'm gonna go High Noon too, just because it is so a very succinct story.
Mhm.
Like there is no filler. There's just enough fat for flavor. It's you know what I mean.
Yeah. I will say there's no wrong answer here because both these movies have Lee Van Cleef in it. So
Yeah, these are both our Van Cleef movies. Yeah.
I mean, there's a
Cowboy
reason
Legend.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the High Noon Rewind.
Yeah, just for conciseness alone, just it's dense. High Noon. That's what I'm thinking. It's good. Just it's a true classic.
Now, are you guys voting with your millennial attention spans?
Well, actually, let me ask y'all this: those sounds, that theme from The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, is that original from there? Like with the eagle screech and the sounds that
yeah.
played in the trailer. That's what that's
Yeah.
from.
Yeah. What's his name?
I kind of want to hear that song again. Well, how's that song go? It's like the no. Is that the song? Is that the one that's
The most iconic
It's the most
Western
iconic
soundtrack
music.
of all time.
Ennio Morricone is his name. He did
It's
the
Italian
music.
guy?
Yeah. And he is a absolute legend. And the music in Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is absolutely legendary.
Wait, so they have been doing Western like TV shows and movies without that iconic sound for 15 years at least?
Oh
Before
yeah,
that?
absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. Ennio Morricone like defined Western music as we think about it for sure. Because
That
think
makes
about
it
that
tougher.
song in High Noon. That would you stay with me, my darling? Don't ding a don't ding a don't ding a don't ding. If
no,
you
I'm not
leave
about it.
me, I will die. Like it's so dumb. Like it's, it's
Keep
straight
them
dumb.
doggies
dude.
rolling.
Yeah, like it is the
Yeah, no.
honkiest bullshit I've ever heard in my life, and it's like comical. It's literally comical.
Let's make it tough. I'm resending my vote. Hang on, let me think about this because like we're like the one thing I know about westerns is that fucking sound, right? Like
Yeah.
that and I hadn't seen that movie till this like week, right? But I knew that fucking sound and shit.
That
It's kind
everybody
of.
knows that.
I might think about this like the best of the genre, like iconic in the genre, or the movie I liked more. It's what it's down to for me. It's really tough.
It's really tough.
Well, see, now you got me
I'm ready to-
questioning it. Fucking Good and the Bad and the Ugly is really fucking good.
It's an all right movie to me. That's what I thought of it. Not exactly concise.
I mean,
Not
it is your
exactly tight.
No, but it is a very quintessential Western movie. Like,
Right.
if
It
somebody
takes
was
its
like, "I've never
time.
seen a Western movie. I want
It
to see
takes-
a Western movie
but
that's going
it's
to show
not
me."
as meandering as Once Upon a Time. So
Right.
like, it's a little difficult to divorce those movies because they're made by the same guy, but it takes its time, but it's still a phenomenal flick, you know. So I have a hard time discounting it based solely on the runtime alone.
No, but the runtime isn't.
It's not the problem. It's like there's a lot of like almost dead air in that motherfucker. It's like the problem.
And now, don't get me wrong. There's some of that dead space that is needed for, you know, atmosphere, for lack of a different word. But
I don't know
it
if there's
seems
as much dead air as
they
there.
kind of overdo it sometimes.
Nah, see, you already convinced me like an hour and a half ago when you were talking about Goosebumps and timing and all that shit.
That is one of the man.
No,
No,
you're
that's
right.
the
I'm
thing
not
about High
talking
Noon is
shit
just
about High
very
Noon.
Hitchcock.
I'm just saying.
No,
let's
that's
think
all
about
true.
it.
What you
Let's
said
think
is all
about it.
true. But versus
And-
like that sound and that feeling that is the Western to me. And as a millennial, probably that sound has just been referenced so many times in other
But
shit.
Let me take a minute to switch it back again on you.
No, let's keep flip flopping. Let's flip flop.
I feel like even Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was inspired by High Noon. You know, those
Oh, yeah.
long, suspenseful, drawn out moments. I think might have been inspired by the suspense of High Noon. You know, like.
I mean, damn near every Western that follows is inspired by High Noon. That's kind of the
High Noon is really, really, really good.
It is really
I'm
good.
not here to argue against that. I'm just saying there's a lot to appreciate about Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Mhm.
It took the inspiration, that suspense from High Noon, and rebirthed it, redeployed it in beautiful ways. That scene when Angel Eyes is standing in the doorway of that farm, you know, and the guy, he just silently looks at his son, looks at his wife. She escorts the son out, And he silently walks in. The guy sits down, serves himself some stew. Angel Eyes sits down, serves himself some stew, and they never break eye contact the entire time they're serving that stew. They're eating that stew. That suspense is just
breaking bread, dipping it.
Italian hands.
Just eyeball to eyeball the whole time.
Yeah. You know.
Now Van Cleef,
does that build upon the suspense borrowed from High Noon?
Van Cleef can make suspense just by narrowing his eyes.
Yeah.
All right. He just look at you and shit just got suspenseful. Okay.
Oh yeah. Definitely. So
well,
God damn it. See, now y'all got me questioning. We done.
I done tied this whole conversation up in a knot.
All right.
No, I'm right back where I started.
All right.
High Noon is good, but it's not genre defining necessarily as much. It's not known. It's not what you think of when you think westerns. I think
See, that's what I was saying earlier.
It's probably the good, the bad, the ugly, and that's what I'm going to vote for now.
That's what I was saying earlier. Is if you wanted to show somebody a movie, like if somebody had never seen westerns before, they didn't know anything about western movies, and you wanted to show them one western movie that would just sum up seeing all the western movies in one pretty much experience as one fucking go.
Yeah.
Good and bad, the good, the bad, and the ugly is pretty much gonna nail that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
because it's kind of 3 movies in one.
Yeah, no, it really is. It is 3 movies in one. It's 3 short films strung together.
See, I didn't talk so much. I got myself questioning myself.
I'm not changing my vote.
Oh. All right. So let's go through it. Argo. High Noon.
High Noon.
High Noon. Eric.
God damn it. See.
We can come back to you. We got wait for Justin to come back to his microphone. He's in the pisser listening to us right now. He's pissing hard.
Pissing
he's pushing
hard
it
fast.
He feels like his dick's about to explode because he's pushing it so hard.
Like fucking lower abdomen just like lower abdomen just cramping.
Yeah. He's gonna forego flushing to save time. I'll flush later, damn it. We're talking shit again.
I don't know. He's been there long enough. He might be pissing enough to make it flush itself. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, talking about. I've already voted, so I was trying to take my time, but y'all make me rush.
I forgot what you voted for.
I'm going good, the bad, the ugly because I kind of get it. Perhaps it's just because I'm a millennial and is referencing everything from fucking like Hey Arnold to every other fucking cartoon I watched. Right?
That's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
It just has a higher impact. I never fucking heard of High Noon till now. Like it sounds, and to be honest, the name sounds kind of cliche. Like,
of course, it's cliche. It was the first.
All right.
So it's a good movie, but it didn't define the fucking like the genre late in the genre, like
right,
like the good, the bad, the ugly managed to do. You know?
Yeah, I mean, no one's gonna be the first one out the gate and define the genre.
It could happen.
It's gonna take some inspiration. It's gonna take some doing.
And I fucking hate Clint Eastwood, but Leaving Clef saves it.
That's
and
true.
Tuco sucks ass
And
too.
Tuco.
I'm not fans of neither one of the leads.
Well, I like Tuco.
I only like
the
bad.
I like Tuco the character. That
if I named the movie, it'd be called The Bad, The Good, and the Ugly. That's what I would call it.
All right, Eric.
I'm gonna go Good, Bad, and the
Motherfucker's
Ugly.
trying to put
I'm changing it up.
Now I gotta vote.
You don't even know yet, do you? You better flip a coin over there, Mister. Actually, just based on the Civil War-ness of it, Good, the Bad's got it in the bag. No.
He said, except for that camera work.
What would Grant say? Think about it.
What would Sherman say?
WWS
What would Rosecrans say?
D.
Sherman
Big
would
Dick
say,
Burnside.
Sherman would say, burn them fuckers.
That's right. That's right. Honestly, I'm taking it as a coin. I'm going High Noon. That's what you ended up on, you motherfucker. I'm tying it up and I'm taking it as a coin because you know what? I think this is the perfect coin situation.
This is very coiny.
So we're gonna say heads High Noon, tails Good the Bad.
Oh, you son of a bitch! I dare you unload this on the coin. How dare you?
I like corn. I love corn.
Here goes. Here goes. It's heads.
High Noon?
What did I say? It was High Noon.
That was the top one, I think.
Yeah, it's High Noon.
I mean, everybody knows the song, so you might as well just let that win. Dude.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to get to the bottom of this, figure out what's the very best Wild West classic. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Bourbon. aged Jim Beam Black.
All right, everybody. Got your chocolate covered cowboys?
Yeah, how about those?
Any coffee?
We love
Got
those
some
down here.
cream-filled, chocolate-covered cowboys.
A creamy center.
They do have a creamy center. That shit is good. It's good for you.
Protein.
Oh,
that,
man.
He needs that chocolate cowboy cream pie.
It's better than a cow pie, I guess.
I mean, it was decadence in New Orleans last weekend. So.
That's right.
No one
That's right.
knows what
Welcome
that
back
is.
to Film Heat. We're finishing up this Wild West cowboy bracket, and it's true the Wild West. We're wilding out here tonight. We don't care anymore.
I'm trying to get banned.
No rules.
Trying to
There
get
ain't
banned.
any rules
Banned
out
it.
here. These colors
Ugly.
don't run.
Said it.
We being ugly.
But we're about to do as good as losers bracket. It's some good shit on there, except for one. So
Yeah, let's establish how bad the Searcher sucks right off the bat.
Like, yeah, we're just gonna skip over
the second
even
best versus
bothering.
the worst.
Yeah. Yeah, a wild bunch of searchers, guys. Let's think about this one now.
Man, Searchers still has me mad that I wasted that fucking time. I could have watched High Noon again twice.
Yeah.
No, you should have
The
just
coffee
ducked
on
out
Laura.
halfway
But
through.
I'm
like,
saying
this
I
is
could have
ass.
watched High Noon again because I watched the Searchers like after the first 10 minutes. I had that bitch in double time.
I could have drank 2 pots of coffee rather than watch the Searchers.
Well,
Right.
what took me back about the Searchers, right, is there's that scene where after they fail the first time and John Wayne is being demeaning to that guy, the guy kind of claps back and John Wayne don't say shit. He's like, well, you said I'm poor and a fucking engine and all that, so shut the fuck up. And John Wayne don't say shit after that.
He's like, well, yeah, that is true. That's what I
It's
meant.
like I did
So
say
you-
that.
You freaking.
But yeah, it's a shit movie. Don't watch that garbage.
Yeah, fucking don't waste the electricity. Don't waste your time.
Don't waste your time. Fuck
Yeah.
John Wayne. I'm glad he's
Fuck John
dead.
Wayne.
The only good thing cancer ever did was kill John Wayne. So score 1 for cancer.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Love it. Love to see it. That's how we do things around here.
You know what? John Wayne Gacy was better than John Wayne.
You know,
Just
you
saying
know, you know,
he was better.
he was
know,
better
okay,
for
Some
society.
people.
We got hot
Hey,
film and even hotter
all
takes.
right. Long-term damage. John Wayne Gacy killed less people.
Right.
You know
John
what?
Wayne Gacy did less damage to society. So
Call it like it
That's what I'm
is.
saying. Just saying, like how much toxic bullshit did John Wayne fucking promote through his fucking shit that wound up getting somebody else fucked up or killed along the lines because somebody was doing what John Wayne would do.
yeah, I mean, John Wayne is responsible for why we're in the world we're in today, with certain people being a prevalence. Anyway,
All right.
on to the next losers round. Once Upon a Time in the West versus Shane.
That's gonna
That's
be
an interesting
Shane.
one.
That's gonna be Shane.
Yeah, definitely Shane.
Yeah, I
Especially
got to
with
give
what
it
I
Shane
learned
too. Shane
today.
kind
Yeah.
of surprised me.
Shane
Shane's
deserves
solid.
it.
Shane deserves it. Once Upon a Time in the West is a meandering mess. So shout out to Shane. Eric,
Yeah,
Shane.
yeah.
Right. Up next, the Wild Bunch.
Wild
versus
Bunch.
Shane.
Shane ain't all that now.
Shane's good. Hang on.
Wild Bunch.
Even though Shane is like the worst fucking white boy name I could think of, like every motherfucker I know named Shane fucking sucked.
Everybody I went to high school with named Shane is addicted to crack or meth now.
I was about to say everybody I knew named Shane was way too into Limp Bizkit
That's
and
about the
wound
white
up
trash
on
name.
prescription drugs.
I mean, unless you're in chat, your name is Shane, then you rock. Shout out
You're probably cooler
You go,
than the Shanes
Shane.
I knew. I'm just
to you.
saying.
Go Shane. You know what? I'm gonna name my kid Shane. My firstborn is now
You
gonna
better
be named
not.
Shane.
You're too white.
Wait, hold
man.
on.
Look,
I got way too much white trash in my veins.
You better name your kid
go-
Helfin, because that's a good name.
What?
You better name your kid Helfin,
Helfin.
which was the first name of the actor that played Joe.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
There you go. There you go.
I'm gonna name my kid John Wayne. John Wayne King.
Oh hell no.
Ugh.
Oh, my name is
look,
Van Helfin. Name him
look.
Van.
I will come
Van
physically
King?
fight
That's a
you
good
to
name.
not to get you to not do that. Okay.
Yeah, just like Shane did.
Name him Wilson. What's the first name?
I'm gonna name him Van Wilson King.
There you go.
There you go. That's a good strong name.
That's all right. It's
All
not
right,
as strong
so
as
we're going-
Sherman, but
Are we? Yeah, I'm at Sherman
Yeah.
Tecumseh King.
We're a
Oh,
wilding
shit.
bunch.
Now we're naming my kids.
oh, it's a race. That's mine. I've said for
Are
a
we all
long
going
time.
Wild Bunch? All
You're the
Wild
wilding
Bunch, yes?
bunch. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Shout out to Shane.
I was
Shane's a
say,
good
it's
play.
about the quickest fucking
Hey,
Damn,
speed round. We
round.
speeding.
Speed.
All right. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly versus the Wild Bunch. Oh shit.
Oh,
That's
I've
the
been here
Wild
before.
Bunch. I'm going Wild Bunch again.
Whoa.
It's got in a fight it would win because it's got better armament. I'm just saying. I'm like,
It's got 60 years on it, just about.
Last time we did this, we went to the coin.
it's got 40, 50 years on it. 55 years.
I think I'm going Wild Bunch too. Fuck Clint Eastwood.
Whoa. Listen.
Good, Bad, the Ugly is pretty good.
Wild Bunch. Clint
Wild
Eastwood
Bunch.
sucks, but Sergio Leone is good.
Yeah, then he made better movies too.
I don't
know if he did, but because the other one we watched was not better.
He did make better movies.
Oh, here's a strong name for you, Aldo. That's a strong name.
Aldo. Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna name my kid first name Tecumseh.
Tecumseh Aldo. Joking. Chico, get over here.
Yeah. Tecumseh's a good ass name. That's why they name Heavy Machinery that.
Some say the heaviest machinery.
Doesn't it mean like biggest of dicks or something like that? It means something crazy. Commercial. It means commercial refrigeration compressor.
Yeah.
I remember
It's an Indian name.
There was a kid I knew that had his go-kart had a Tecumseh engine on it.
Shawnee Chief Warrior who promoted resistance against the United States. So really, that's appropriation right there, motherfucker. Okay, they appropriated
Translations of his name include "I crossed the way" and "shooting star."
So did the chicken Tecumseh? Or no?
Why did the chicken Tecumseh?
That's how Indians said it.
We're canceled.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're canceled. But you know what? I don't give a fuck.
White people already stole the name. What are you talking about? Some motherfucker was like, oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna name my fucking refrigeration unit that.
That's
so.
what I call my fridge.
That's what I call my fridge.
Tecumseh bitch.
I get the feeling that it was the refrigeration compressors and the engines and the lawn equipment and all that shit are same people.
Let's see here.
All right.
I mean honkies.
I'm gonna name my kid Oshkosh.
I gave my daughter some white girl names.
Who hasn't voted yet? Me.
Well,
me and you.
All right, what are you voting for?
Man,
you've had time.
Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
There you go. Throw down. What's it gonna be?
I was gonna put me to keep.
Coin.
I'm going to vote for. I'm changing my vote. I'm going for the Wild Bunch.
It's good, man.
Definitive. Because I gotta give love to the motherfuckers that broke the genre. Like, you literally went against the established way.
Exactly.
You made,
yeah.
You made a dirty movie about a bunch of dirty people doing
They
people dirt.
they dunked on the motherfuckers making Gunsmoke on TV. They're like,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Now-
You're pissing off honkies.
We are left with the alpha and the zeta of that genre, of that time period.
Oh no shit. We got the oldest and the most recent.
Mm-hmm.
Alpha and the Omega. You say, okay. You know, it's enough we could do like a whole nother like recent westerns. Like,
You know, I actually have been thinking about the recent westerns.
Nice.
Wild Wild West.
Well, maybe. But Tombstone,
Eh,
Wyatt Earp,
I don't
which
know.
sucks.
Now, Puck Wild.
Young
I'm just
Guns,
kidding,
which
Wild Wild
sucks.
West. No.
A lot of them suck, actually. So we're just gonna talk about Tombstone, and that's gonna be the whole podcast.
Yeah, it's just be a Tombstone review. Yeah.
We're just going to talk about Tombstone being an overreach of the law.
I do love me some Val Kilmer.
Tombstone
because-
dunks on Wyatt Earp so hard. It's the same story, but
All
Wyatt
the
Earp
westerns
fucked it up.
of our time are remakes, like 310 to Yuma and True Grit, and like
Yeah.
they're all like remakes of fucking.
Yeah, Wyatt Earp is a remake of Tombstone, and it sucks dick.
There's Deadwood, and they made a Deadwood movie.
Deadwood is the shit, actually.
I don't know if the Deadwood movie's any good, but
I didn't watch it, but the show is good as fuck because it says lots of dirty words, which makes it better.
listen,
Justice said the more they fucking cuss, the more my fucking dick gets hard.
Exactly. When fucking
did they make the movie?
when swear? Of course they did. It came out like 2017 or 13.
Okay, I didn't know if it got like COVIDed or whatever.
COVIDed. It got the COVIDed. 2019, bro. This came out.
Okay, they beat the COVID.
They beat the COVID.
Was it
It's
good
good.
though?
I didn't watch it, but it's probably good.
Well, I can't trust reviews. Reviews said The Searchers is good, so I'm
Did
never
you
reading
say-
a
Did you watch
review
the show?
again. I watched like the first few episodes of the show. I never finished.
There's
it.
like maybe 3 seasons. The first one's gold, and it gets worse from there. But whatever.
My millennial attention span wore out pretty quick.
Exactly. Fuck TV shows. I can barely watch movies.
I'm not watching anything.
19 hours of some fucking bullshit. Fuck
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, see, that's
Yeah.
my thing with TV.
No, I'm not watching that
shows,
new
it's
Game of Thrones
easier.
shit, dude. I'm not even.
Oh no, fuck
interested.
that.
I'm
I mean,
over that, bro. I'm
No.
too
yeah,
hipster
no,
for
the
that.
Game of Thrones is gone.
Yeah.
It's not in my
Yeah,
life.
I'm way too
anymore.
hipster
It's
for
gone.
that. Yeah, no. You
Also, the
Zoomers can have
motherfucker-
that shit.
She got-
Motherfucker quit writing the books like 10 years ago. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
I hate that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he gave up. He gave up. He stopped. You're not getting
know
the
what?
end of that.
I hate
you're not,
pop culture.
You're not getting the end of that fucking story.
Let's not
now
talk about
pop
movies
culture.
anymore.
But
because
I hate-
HBO.
We're not talking about pop culture. We're talking about grandpa culture right now. So
Yeah,
we're talking
Jeremy.
about-
Jeremy, HBO fucked you out of a finish to that book series.
This is now we're now talking sexual health. This is a sexual health podcast from now
We're
on.
gonna do this is Love Line. Call in.
Love line.
Talking
Yeah,
about
that's
your
right.
penis.
Yeah. We're gonna have a call-in line. Dude, I want a call-in line so bad. Dude.
Just gonna
Oh my God.
message us pictures.
We
of
would
your-
give the worst advice. He'd be like, just put it in.
Hell
bro.
yeah.
What are you talking
Hell
about?
yeah.
just send us a picture of
Whatever
junk.
it
We'll
is,
tell
just
you
do
what's
it.
up.
Show me your boobs.
Like, fuck your insecurities.
Yeah.
She loves your uncut dick. Just do
She
it.
loves it.
Just send
She
a
loves
picture,
it. Keep it
unsolicited.
clean and you're great. That's all.
We would do the
Shout
best
out to
love line.
Stabby loves your Stabby solves your problems on YouTube. That's so good. Oh my god. All right. I gotta pee. Let's wrap this up. High Noon versus Wild Bunch.
I'm gonna go Wild Bunch because it's gritty, and High Noon is the opposite of that. There's not a drop of blood in High Noon. It's like it's the 50s. The Hays Code is still in effect.
That's true. This is like the height of the Hays Code too. It was thick, boy. It was thick.
Like, it might be communist if the sheriff doesn't win. So
That's true.
Well, no, that was kind of the thing that the movie was bitching about was fucking communist blacklisting.
Oh man, whoa! Turn your argument inside out, boy.
what?
I never thought about that, but there is kind of that little bit of like the whole like your community turning its back on you.
They blacklisted the
is-
sheriff.
It is kind of allegorical to.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not making
Hollywood
that
during
up.
the Hays
That's not
Code.
just my observation or me making that up. I
He
have
could've just
literally
left.
Like, you read that? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like a thing.
That's a thing.
Shit, dude, that is such a fucking hard sell to me that that's hard to argue against because I love talking shit about the Hays Code. Like,
I'm just saying, like, that's part of what the movie
Hang
is
on now.
about. The fucking story is about is it's allegorical of fucking Hollywood communism, blacklisting. You know, just
yeah, that McCarthyism in Hollywood. Yeah. What are
Yeah.
you gonna say, Justin?
I did Google how many horses died in the making of The Searchers, and what came up was a thing about how animal cruelty was outlawed in the Hays Code, actually, right? Because before they would like tie the horses like feet to like a wall and like make it take off, which would launch the rider and fucking kill the horse and shit. Because I wanted to know how many horses died in the making of the movies. There's probably over 100 still.
Yeah.
That's just me guessing because I saw a lot of injured horses, especially in The Searchers.
Oh, yeah.
Which made me fucking sad.
Yeah, dude.
Oh
Not
yeah,
so
big
much.
time. Oh yeah, this whole week made me uncomfortable with like the state of the animals. Like, you know,
Yeah, no, dude, it fucking Wild Bunch. There was a bunch of horses getting fucked up in that shit.
Oh
But apparently with the Hays Codes, they couldn't openly do like sacrifice horses and shit. Like apparently.
Wow. Okay.
So a little bit
Alright.
of good came from it somewhere, I guess.
A little bit. And there we
Maybe.
go. Okay.
Maybe not.
That's how they get you, though. That's how they get you. That's why they always tie in a bunch of like fascist legislation into like.
Oh, but
the
we're saving the
budget.
puppies.
The budget. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, we're gonna allocate a bunch of money to like veterans.
Nothing is totally
days
good
later.
and nothing is totally bad, right? Like there's good and bad of everything, right? So
Well, especially in politics, because they always tie their shitty shit in with the good shit on purpose.
Yeah, they're like,
Make me
oh,
say, like,
you're
oh, you hate veterans if you don't love fascism. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
Yeah.
don't fucking.
No, they tie
fuck veterans.
fucking.
Veterans are fucking lazy. I work with all veterans and they suck ass. So like, hey, I could have died. Like, yeah, I could have died too. Coming to work, bitch. Shut the fuck up.
That's right. That's right. I drive to work every day, and driving is the most dangerous thing anybody has ever done. So
what y'all thinking about this? Because I already voted. Number 2 is good for High Noon. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna go High Noon.
I'm also going Wild Bunch for the
oh no
the Mexican cartel and the titties and the blood.
They could have been more
and the-
titties. Not gonna lie.
It was so much
That
fun.
one was kind of thick, and I wanted to see more of her. But
that's what
yeah.
I'm saying. I like
For its time, that was
women,
a lot.
and I like parts.
none of the
human
other
parts.
movies move my dick. Just a Wild Bunch.
I like boobies, and Wild Bunch definitely delivered in that department.
I mean, not like a lot. There's like 2 seconds. But
Just enough to make me want more, you know, and that's how they get you. That's how they fucking get you, dude.
yeah, exactly.
Show you just enough.
Give you the
to
first
get
hit for
you-
free.
Yeah, to get you Googling stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Get you Googling shit up. Download Nectar tabs.
Mexican horror titties. Enter. and Google.
I've been searching for the wrong stuff this whole time.
Don't search
Yeah.
it on your work PC.
Exactly.
He's
Don't
like,
be PC.
Mexican porn.
Y'all too PC. Y'all
What else
gotta
you
fucking
got?
get with it. Google ain't woke. Google don't give a shit.
Now you gotta go that shit if you want that
You gotta tell
good.
Google
good.
exactly what you want.
Yep,
Google is
Wild Bunch.
gentrified. That's all white bitches.
All right. I'm gonna go with the Wild Bunch. Not because I don't love High Noon, because I do.
No, number 2 is no slouch.
That's what I'm saying.
It might even have more wins.
It might. It actually might. I don't. High Noon,
No, Wild Bunch get the loser wins, but still, it don't matter.
because High Noon. I mean, because Wild Bunch is winning, I'm gonna go ahead and lock it in. Let me just give a huge shout out to High Noon. What an absolute underdog. What an absolute dark horse. Like, I came into this shit thinking, oh my God, here we go. I'm about to watch some hokey ass BS. Like, this is going to be some nonsense.
No, yeah, shit came out when your grandpa was a fucking teenager. Like, when
Yeah,
is this garbage?
absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like, this is literally 10 years before either of my parents were born, you know, like straight up. And my grandparents were 18 when my parents were born. So, you know,
Exactly, they're maybe
my
teenagers,
grandparents are 10 years old. Like, the world is a completely different
when
place.
this good ass movie came out. Who
Yeah,
knew?
this
Who would've
movie's an
fucking-
absolute banger for sure.
Yep.
So, shout out to High Noon. Big ups. Brr, brr. High Noon.
See, that looks pretty good.
Let's take a look.
That's a good list.
All right. In absolute last place with nothing to say for it is The Searchers. Shout out to
Fuck it.
Cantor.
I've got plenty to say, but we're not gonna waste that time.
Die alone, bitch. What I gotta say.
Yeah.
In fifth place, Once Upon a Time in the West. You know, we got a stylistic movie, but it
just couldn't hold.
It just missed, so it just didn't hit that much for us.
It's like no one asked for this movie. This was like kind of a cash grab just to cash in like one last hurrah on like the Western phenomenon. Like, I don't know. There's no love in this movie. It just seemed like a chore. It seemed like whoever made this movie didn't enjoy making it.
It is spaghetti western in the term referring to pasta because it's just all over the place.
Right, yeah. Spaghetti
empty
is in,
carbs.
like a empty carbs. Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's a convoluted mess. There's no untangling it.
It's a fucking
Yeah.
pile of
Yeah.
fucking pile of noodles that you let sit there long enough they're all stuck together.
Try to find the end of one to the
Crunchy pasta.
Yeah. Good luck straightening out that pasta. Fourth
Shane?
place,
That's
we
a
got
dark horse.
Shane, which, you know what? Shout out to Shane. Pretty good movie. Pretty good. It
coulda
kind of took
did
some
with less
it
kid.
took some watching and then thinking about and maybe watching again. But you know what? Shane, pretty good movie.
I think your theory saved it because I hated it until you were like, what if?
Yeah, you know what? I almost, because you said skip it. You were like, you know what? Just go ahead and skip Shane because it sucks. And I almost did, but I was like, you know what? No.
No, but it's 2 hours of like build up and the same, right? And the 4 minutes of catharsis.
Pretty good movie. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's worth checking out.
It
If you're out
edges
there
you
watching,
for 2.5 hours.
if you're a listener, definitely check out Shane. Just check it out. Just give it a shot.
I've come around. I've been
Yeah.
converted. Check it out. I'm a hater. I'm a hater ass bitch. I'm a
Yeah.
admitted hater ass bitch. So
Yeah, if Justin's saying it's all right, then it's probably pretty good. If Justin doesn't hate it, it's worth watching. Number 3, which interestingly, the good, the bad, and you know what? The good, the bad, and the ugly, it was the reason this list existed. Full disclosure, a lot of times, a lot of these lists get created because I'll get one movie up my ass that I want to watch. So I'll make a whole list.
That's
and
everybody.
I'll submit these guys to watching.
no, we all do that. We're all like, I want to watch this movie.
I want to watch
Get
one
some other
movie.
contrived BS. to
So
watch.
I'm gonna make a list of 6 bullshits to make everybody else watch. That's how it goes. Welcome to the show.
Hey,
it's
hey,
pretty all right.
I'm about to submit y'all to a fucking list that I know Justin is gonna just.
You better post that
despise.
list like tonight.
Yeah, you need
'cause
to
I
get
got
that
a lot of
list
bitching to
to
do.
us because
Oh, you're gonna
You
have
gotta watch it.
Justin. I promise you will have plenty of bitching to do.
Well, you
promise.
just don't get butthurt when I say what I say.
Oh no, I am preparing and I am already like lubing up to make sure that like
As long as you
my
have
butt
Repo
don't
the
get
musical on
chapped.
it, then we'll be fine. Like,
oh my
Wait.
god, if you
Oh, no,
put
there's a
Repo on
musical?
it, we're gonna have words.
Wait, but what?
Repo.
Oh, Repo? Oh no, God, no. Oh, fuck
Okay.
that.
Okay.
No.
All right, then we're fine.
Oh God.
You know
no.
what? I'm
Oh.
about to make a bad musicals list right now.
Oh no, you son of a bitch.
Oh. Repo? No. Oh
Ooh,
God,
wah.
no.
All right. Number 2, High Noon. Second place ain't bad. 3-1. High Noon, the oldest movie on the list, the only black and white. Boy, what a great movie. Honestly, what an awesome movie High Noon is. If you're out there, if you're listening to this, High Noon is so good. If you've never seen a movie from the 50s, you've never seen a black and white movie, you've never seen a Western, I'm going to recommend High Noon to you because it's going to be a good movie for all of those things. It is really, really good. Super suspenseful. I never even thought about it being an allegory for McCarthyism in the 50s in Hollywood. In that regard, it is a masterpiece. This movie easily could have been our number 1 pick. It didn't shake out that way this time, but I cannot recommend High Noon enough. Honestly, High Noon fucking rocks.
I kind of don't get the allegory, but it's still good.
No, I get it. I totally get it.
All 3 of our 3 placing movies are good to watch. If you're trying to get into the genre, or you're trying to identify with your fucking grandpa, or he's coming to town and you're trying to be like, hey, let's talk about something, right? Watch one of these 3 movies.
Most people's grandpas are going to be like just a few years
Gen
older
Xers?
than our dad. Yeah. Like,
okay.
Yeah, a lot of grandpas are going to be Gen Xers now. So even they're going to be too young for these movies.
Well, then flex on your grandpa with these movies. So
yeah, flex on your grandpa because he don't know shit. Gen Xers are dumb.
They don't know dick. They like Limp Bizkit. Fuck them.
Tell your grandpa Eurythmics suck. Tell him get with it and watch High Noon with us because it fucking rocks.
Your grandpa killed Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson fucks your grandpa.
Number 1, first place, the winner of our Wild West Classics bracket, The Wild Bunch. This is the darkest, the grittiest, the bloodiest movie of the list. It is genre defining at the same time being genre breaking.
Yes.
And that is why it's in our number 1 position, because it took its time to define the genre and then break the mold all in one. It pissed off John Wayne, which is a gold star in and of itself.
Yes, that in itself gets 2 thumbs up.
It is the defining inspiration for Red Dead Redemption 2. So if you're our age, you'll understand what that means. So The Wild Bunch is great. Also, what's his name? Ernest guy that played Dutch.
Yeah, Ernest Borgnine.
Borgnine.
Ernest Borgnine. If you watch SpongeBob, he's the voice of Mermaid Man.
Is he?
Yeah, man.
No, I know Ernest Borgnine from Escape from New York. He's the cab driver that helps Snake out.
Oh yeah, that's
right. Where I know him from.
That's right.
There you go.
And he's like the cutest man you've ever seen. He's like got the biggest smile.
Yeah, exactly. He's an adorable old geezer for anyone our age. Even like our parents, like only our grandparents know him as like a hardened badass. Like,
no, he's not that badass. He doesn't even
actor.
fuck any whores in this movie. He's like, I'm wait outside, but y'all fuck the whores.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He
He's
is
a
like literally
sweetheart.
sleeping in
He's
a
the
hay
most-
bale while everybody's fucking whores.
Yeah, he's the
inside.
most
Yeah.
sweetheart man you ever met. Like,
Yeah. Shout out to Ernest Borgnine for sure. Shout out to the Wild Bunch, the winner of our Wild West Classics.
you know
film
what? It was a
bracket.
hard fight. You know, it was more cantankerous than I ever thought possible. You
Mhm.
know, that's why we
Mhm.
do this.
That's right.
To find the best of the best. And I thought it would be all binary on this, but we did have some, you know,
Yeah.
derision
And
there.
That is this show. People are watching us learn. That's what people come here for. You know,
Yeah, we're dumb. We don't know shit.
We don't know shit. We're millennials. We're just as dumb as the stereotype makes us out to be. But we're here to fix that.
At least millennials are willing to accept that we're a little bit dumb and try to do something about it.
Yeah, eat shit, Gen Xers.
Yeah, you ignorant bastards. Nah, this is a great show. More people should watch this show.
More people should watch this show. You know
Watch
what?
this show.
This is the best
Watch
show on
this
the
show,
internet. So tell your friends. This is the best show on the internet, and they're fucking up not watching.
This is one of our longest shows in a long time, and to be honest, I thought this would be one of our shortest shows because I didn't know what we were going to judge these movies by going into this.
Oh, yeah.
We had a lot to say apparently.
That's right. And you know, we went there. We had a lot of hot takes this time. We got some spicy comments. You know what? Yeah.
Like fuck John Wayne.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not sure that's even counts as spicy or controversial because John Wayne's just a piece of shit, or was just a piece of shit until he got turned into
I don't think enough people know how much of a piece of shit John Wayne was.
You might be right there.
I am a hardcore leftist, and I can still find a way to piss off woke people. You know, that's just my special ability.
No, it's easy to do.
I got the spiciest
It's
takes
really not hard.
around.
It's really not hard for me to piss off just about anybody.
That's right.
That's
right.
Wait, you've seen this in action, so never mind.
So read through our list there and wrap it up there, Jer. Our top 6.
We did.
Let's say we were. Yeah.
Well, then wrap it up. Then
This bitch said I'm too drunk to keep doing this.
Listen, we got video games to play, so quit watching us and tune in 2 weeks for a very special birthday edition of Film Heat, where we're going to be celebrating the birthday of our very own Eric. So we got a mystery list coming up because we don't even know what it is yet.
Our garbage movie extraordinaire.
I'm kind of waiting to see Justin like bitch and complain about it. Like I just posted it. I just put the list in there.
Oh, so we'll know what it is very soon, and we'll let you know what it is very soon. And tune in 2 weeks for a very special birthday edition of Film Heat, and we will see you all very soon. Thank you so much for listening on the podcast. Thank you all so much for watching on Twitch, and we will see you all next time.